everyone. Welcome to the Felicity, Optimist versus Cynic podcast with us, your hosts, Melissa and Fish. This is a Felicity rewatch podcast. We'll watch an episode each week and join you here to talk about it. The reminder we always give. Say it with me, Fish. Not a spoiler-free podcast.
Not a spot. Oh, we didn't do that well at all.
That's okay, though. Look, that's how off the cuff we are here. I just threw her in there.
Yeah, look. I didn't think that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, well, I
thought you were going to say, this is not a spoiler-free podcast.
It's not.
It's not. You're right.
Okay. You get the picture, folks. I am Melissa, and I'm here with, you heard her, my amazing co-host, Fish. Fish, how are you doing today?
I am good. I like this one. And I have a number of things to point out, which many of you may already know, probably do. And I'm just sort of noticing for the first time.
Oh, well, this should be fun. Okay, we'll see how many of these things I may or may not have noticed myself. Could be some cool stuff to mine in this one. We are talking about season 2, episode 15. This one's called Things Change. Couldn't be more generic than that. Things
also, I we'll talk about it. But
did things change?
But I don't understand how anything changed.
Okay, well, hey, that's a question we can all think to ourselves as Fish and I unpack this episode today. Did things actually change? Or were they just noticed? You might ask. I will be taking a hard look at that as we go through. This one originally aired February 27th, I must have written this wrong. 1 moment. 2000. I wrote 2020, which is definitely not when this aired. Okay. 2000. Okay. It was directed by Elodie Keene, written by Andrea Newman, whose name has been coming up so many times in this season. So she's getting a lot more to do in that writer's room. The episode description is: Felicity is stunned when a visit with her dad reveals that he's taking anti-anxiety pills. Nevertheless, she needs him to fill in at the clinic as the facility must have a doctor to pass the annual state review. Meanwhile, Noel and Ruby come to a decision about their future, and Elena's competitive streak is ignited when Tracy outscores her on an exam.
Wow, I don't think any one of those sentences is correct.
I agree with you.
I think every sentence there talks about an aspect of the episode and draws the completely wrong conclusion.
Correct.
All right.
Okay.
We're on the same
So
page.
what have we learned? The first several minutes of this podcast are not that useful to you, listeners, but they help set the stage. Look, you've come to know and love us, and we're going to be ornery. So, okay.
I mean, that's fully on brand for me, but
I don't know if that episode description threw you into disarray in terms of where you want to start on this episode, but where do you want to begin?
Well, I think we can just begin at the beginning.
Okay.
We have a lovely scene in Dean and DeLuca with Javier's back. I'm super happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
We got Felicity, we got Ben, we got Dr. Porter coming in. We got some people.
Mm-hmm.
Javier is considering liposuction.
Sure is. He's really given it a good thought throughout the whole episode, actually.
He is. His friend did it. She looks a lot better now.
Mm-hmm.
And Samuel is being a little cruel. But as he's standing there talking to Felicity about potentially getting the fat sucked out of multiple parts of his body,
and he proceeds through this, he's actually showing her what he would look like with that liposuction. Every time he's thinking of a body part that he would do it, he's giving us a sample of what that would be. I feel like this was an episode where both Kerry Russell and Scott Speedman were trying really hard not to break through quite a few of the Javier scenes.
I can't imagine that they weren't. I mean,
There's a lot of scenes in this episode because there's a lot of Ben and Javier stuff, and Scott Speedman just like has his hand
mhm.
like as if he's resting his hand on his chin, but basically a little bit covering his mouth. And I was sure that was because he must have had so many takes where he was just laughing.
Andor, he tries to drink things. There are
Yes.
multiple times that I noticed where he's just like, "Let me put my face in this cup so you can't see me laughing."
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the liposuction quandary is real. Javier's going to ask pretty much everybody he has a chance to ask here in
Yeah.
this episode, and he'll sort of go between that and having serious conversations.
Yes, but a serious conversation does not start when we get the fabulous Javier line. Pam walks in and she sits down, and Javier says to Felicity that Pam has a little crunch on Ben.
That might be the first time we've heard him say
It is.
crunch,
It
right?
definitely is.
That's his thing. He's going to say that a lot.
Okay.
Javier has, we know that Javier he mixes up words sometimes. He does it more than once in this episode,
He
and
is, yes.
crunch is one of his standard go-tos.
He is the uh, Mr. Malaprop of Felicity.
Nice. I like
Thank
that.
you.
Well, this
Yeah.
is kind of an interesting one because, they're going between like the weirdness of him having all these conversations about liposuction, but then they're really bringing in pretty quickly some of this more some of the themes of this episode that are a tie from other themes. So Pam coming in, we meet Pam for the first time, and Pam is just dropping in at Dean and DeLuca because she's got her eye on Ben, maybe.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. There's
Yeah.
much
And
speculation.
then yeah. I mean, it doesn't last long because Ben does walk over to say hi, and I just love these cute little expressions that Javier and Felicity have, like looking back and forth at each other and looking at Ben, and you're like, what's gonna happen? And
What were
yeah,
you seeing from Carrie Russell here? Like, because we're getting the lines that we're getting from her, it's like, oh, I think she's looking over here type of stuff.
mhm.
But what were you getting from Carrie in this scene?
I mean, I think there's always going to be a tiny little bit of jealousy in
Yeah.
her, but it's not pronounced. Like she's kind of getting into the like, let's press Ben's buttons with Javier, and let's say things that are going to kind of ruffle him, and Ben does get Pam's number, and Carrie clocks it. She
Mm-hmm.
is like, oh, you got those digits, huh? Um, and so, I mean, she's definitely keeping her eye on what's happening there.
Mm-hmm.
And as we get a little farther into this scene, I think she does. Um, I mean, the word I used was distracted. It didn't look like she was heartbroken, but she definitely was just distracted by like wanting to know what was going on.
Yeah.
Because after Javier says, you know, Pam's got a little crunch on Ben, we just hear sort of this what's the word I'm looking for? Not amorphous, but we hear this sweetheart come out of nowhere. And personally, I found it super creepy because then
Hmm.
we pan over and it's Felicity's dad. And it's
Yeah.
just the way he said it sounded really creepy.
I found the
Um,
opening scene pretty jarring actually, because it felt like they were doing a lot of things and didn't feel cohesive to me. And I'm not sure why that is, because it's not that they've never had like a bunch of characters floating into a scene before. So I'm not really sure what that is that I was reacting to, but maybe that's part of it. We have you think maybe this teaser scene is going to be about Felicity looking curiously on as Ben is having this conversation with Pam. But then it's kind of not what this scene is about, because Dr. Porter comes in, and now Javier's going to start back and ask him about the lipo.
I
He's
mean,
like,
he's a doctor. He should
yeah,
know. I mean, he's not a plastic surgeon, but
yeah.
I mean, he's a doctor.
Yeah. And he's like going through the options, like, should I get this? Should I get this? Felicity's fighting me on it, but should I get this? Like he's doing all this stuff. And then finally he goes away for a minute, and Felicity's dad is able to have the conversation that he wants to have, which is basically asking Felicity to hang out. Um,
Yeah. And he says, basically they haven't seen each other in a couple of weeks.
mhm.
And I was like, wow, like he backed off for a couple of weeks and then
Or
it
she
turns
was
out,
just
oh
hard to
no.
nail down. Yeah.
Yeah, then it turns out actually she was busy and she's the one who like hasn't been available. So nope, he's still stalking her.
Yeah.
It's just she's not available.
Yeah, so that conversation's happening, and all the stuff that's happening with Ben and Pam, Felicity's clocking it through this
Oh
conversation.
yeah.
She's like looking over his shoulder and like seeing the other conversation happening on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
I think part of what was like jarring to me about this scene was, I don't know, in addition to all of this stuff that's already happening, Javier's reason for going away is that he has to take care of Norma,
Norma.
the employee who's back talking customers. And then
Yeah.
we actually follow Javier to see that Norma is, from the back of her head, we can see her being like, I don't think so, with with one of the customers. And Javier's like, guess what? It's free to
Yeah.
the customer, whatever it was he was buying. We see all of that, plus all the stuff happening with Ben and Pam, plus all the stuff happening with Felicity or Dead, plus all the stuff with the lipo, and then they all have to come together again at the end of the scene. And I was like, whoa.
It is definitely chaotic. I wasn't really thrown off by it because I don't know, morning in a coffee shop is usually chaos.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay. But we have a bunch of stuff going on where it's like reality is chaos. And then, yeah, you're right. We've got the Ben and Pam thing. We've got the like Felicity and her dad thing. And then we've got Javier popping in and out and in and out and in and out asking if he should get lipo.
Mhm.
But I enjoyed it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
And then Javier, I think, has like sort of the button on this scene, which is, he comes back into the conversation and is like back on the lipo section subject again. And he says that
so,
Samuel,
so mad. So mad.
yeah, his significant other, who we haven't seen in quite some time, um, has a little thing that he's been saying to Javier to tease
Mhm.
him about his
Mhm.
weight, and actually his whole appearance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently, the poem is Javier has no hair. Have another chocolate eclair.
Yeah. At which point I wrote down slap Samuel.
Yeah, we don't need
That's
this
not cool.
nonsense. But that is why he's one of the reasons why he's thinking about lipo.
Yeah, it is. And I thought it was interesting. So he's sitting back down with Felicity and her dad. Felicity was distracted around the time that her dad was saying, "Hey, can we, get lunch or something?" And then Ben gets the digits and she's like, "Ah, you got the number." And he walks away. So then she can kind of concentrate on their discussion. And so her dad starts asking her about her personal life, right? He's like, "Oh, are you and Ben still?" And she's like, "No, no, 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 no. We're friends. It's fine." So it's like she's got her eye on it, but she is still definitely, I don't know. I feel like she's saying they're friends. There's a lot going on in her life. Like,
And from another angle, this conversation takes on a different meaning, because, there's Dr. Porter asking his daughter, "Oh, the guy who's your ex or whatever that is, like, it, you're friends with him still? That's cool."
yeah,
And, here he is. not
Mhm.
being friends with his, so it's like he's in a really different place, and he in this particular episode probably wishes that he could have the kind of dynamic with his wife that he has with that Felicity has with Ben, being able to be in a room, coexist, be friendly with each other.
He kind of says that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get our normal credits here. And just like I noticed the dog last time, I mean, usually I'm writing through the credits, so I don't notice a lot of things. But this time I looked up and I noticed one of the producers is Ron Howard. Didn't know that. No
Yeah.
idea. Love him.
They also do sort of funny things along the way with name checking some of the people behind the scenes in characters or names mentioned on the show. So that can be kind of a fun thing. Like we have seen it already with the Hotel Rockmore
Hmm.
from the Todd Mulcahy episodes, where there's I think Tiffany Rockmore works on the show. But we'll see other things like that later that I'll mention as we get there. But yeah.
Yes. So that was one of my first kind of, oh, huh, interesting.
Mhm.
Um, the other thing I noticed about this episode is it's getting darker again, right? I mean, we're hitting winter and
Hmm.
everything's kind of getting darker. Like everybody's wearing browns and blacks and grays, and it's not as dark as season one, but just kind of all around the whole show is it's not that bright springtime color that we had a little earlier in the season. So I don't know if it's just a winter thing or if we're moving into a maybe, you know, a storyline that is a little darker as well. I don't know.
Hmm.
But I definitely was looking at what everyone was wearing and how the lighting was. And, I really liked that light springtime, hey, we have color
Hmm.
thing they had going on. So, I'm not, it's also, winter here. So it would be nice if if it wasn't all dark, but
Yeah,
that's
but it's also worth noting they probably had to try for that aesthetic because although this aired in February, late February of apparently 2000, uh, this was probably shot much, much earlier than that, before it was winter. So,
yeah, you don't see any outside scenes where people can see their breath.
mhm,
So, yeah, they definitely had to work on it.
yeah. We're going to go from here to the clinic. And I have to say, this was a kind of a
Amazing.
cool shot to get us into the clinic because it was this like overhead shot where we saw people milling about on the floor of the clinic, but we saw it from not fully overhead, but an angle down. Um, and I think that would have come from there's actually a staircase going down into the clinic. So I'm guessing they just got that by standing at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was the clinic until I saw there's this kind of next to the reception slash computer area, there's just kind of a square pole. I mean, it's not a pole, I don't know what to call it. It like goes from ceiling to floor and
Mm-hmm.
it goes out towards it's like solid where the reception area would be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the thing that I look to see if we're in the clinic.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't tell until they panned that far over. I was like, the square pole. We're in the
Yeah.
clinic.
I thought this was a really cool way to get us into the clinic for this particular episode because this is an important day for the clinic. There's a lot of people in here that wouldn't normally be here, and there's this mix of like big shots and people who
Hmm.
need support and the people who are the worker bees. And it's we're sort of like that milling about feeling is what I felt when I saw that shot, and I thought, oh, that does end when we actually drop into the scene. Greg is stressed because he is trying to fill a position for a doctor that a doctor backed out. They're still getting ready for this review. The doctor backed out, and Greg's like freaking out because there's all these people who need help, and like he doesn't know what to do. And so there's people who are waiting, and he doesn't want this to be the State of the Union for when this review happens, which is really close.
Yeah, it's like a
So,
couple days.
yeah.
But I have to admit, he stays very calm for this being a super stressful moment.
Yeah, I would say in real life, this would be Panic City.
Well, I mean, or Greg is just the calm guy. I mean, if he's worked, I mean, I don't know if he has, but if he's like worked in an ER, or maybe it's just his personality, like I find it, I mean, he's pre-meds, so I find it particularly comforting when you have doctors who don't panic.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could say that the reverse way. I would find it very
Unsettling.
anxiety
Mm-hmm.
provoking if my doctor panicked.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that about him and his character. And Felicity is kind of the same when in the clinic. It's like she kind of goes into a zone. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like,
Just getting
I mean,
things
she's not in
done. Yeah.
charge. Yeah, she's not in charge of everything, but like she's being professional.
She
You
does
know
a good
who?
job as a worker. Like if I were Greg, I would be glad to have a Felicity on my team. And that's kind of a lucky thing because she's there for community service. So she could have been anybody with any skill set. And,
Like Ben.
she's got this ability to deal with the customer service stuff, and she can do some data entry, and she can fight some of these fires. And she happens to have a dad who's a doctor. So, like, he kind of
Yeah,
lucked out.
I mean, he did. I mean, and she's interested in like this is something she's passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think both her and Greg are well situated in this environment, very professional. You know who's not so professional?
Who?
Megan.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Megan thinks maybe she's sick, but
Does
maybe
she?
she's probably not. Yeah. Yeah.
Does she?
Yeah, she just wants to come on to Greg. She wants more Greg time. And
She wants Greg to touch her and
mm,
see if she has swollen glands.
doctor, I have a sore throat.
Yes.
It's like
And
so not what we've ever seen from Megan.
no, but it was much better than the first meeting, right?
Yeah.
Where that first meeting was very weird.
Hmm.
It, I feel like she turned into a totally different person. Whereas this meeting, it's like she's a little more seductive about it. Like she's
She's
got her
turned on
hair
the seductive
right.
charm for sure.
Yeah, she's got her hair right. She's got her outfit right. She's got, oh my God, I am in love with and want this ring that she has.
Hmm.
It's it's a black coffin on a
Oh.
ring. And I was like, this is fantastic. I want that ring. But yeah, she's just like, come, caress my neck.
Okay,
I
yeah,
kind of feel like that's maybe her O face
that's
that we
it.
just saw.
Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, Greg does
Yeah.
check for swollen glands. Like, you know what? Not sure that there's an issue here, but let's just take a culture just to be sure.
Hmm.
And he walks away to go get something done, and she's like, oh my God, she's reeling. And then she turns to Felicity and she's like, you keep your grubby mitts off of him.
That's right. She warns Felicity off. She says,
Back off. He's my man.
that's right. Greg is her flavor. He is her flavor.
Sure is.
Yep.
Um,
Just take a nice long lick of Greg.
and I'm not
Yummy.
gonna lie, we'll pull this in later when we do audience feedback. But Greg is not many people's flavor outside of Megan, so
Um,
it's so funny.
and me. I mean, I
You
definitely,
and I have
yeah,
we have a Greg some level of Greg appreciation actually.
yes.
And I for different reasons than you. I just enjoy what he does to all these other characters, really.
And
But
I enjoy him. I also enjoy what he does to Ben. I mean, that is hilarious.
yeah.
Um, but in this episode, he is much less dickish
Mm.
than his previous episodes.
In
And
a
he's
situation where he
also
probably should be more of a dick, to be
right.
honest with you.
And
Like,
he's
for if Ben was saying 63% of me thinks you're a dick in the last episode, I think that number can go down
yeah, I don't think
here.
it
I don't think
will.
it will for Ben,
No.
but
I
yeah.
think that's probably an ever increasing number
Yeah, he's just going to
for
get to
Ben.
100 and then go over 100 at some point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But Greg's like the fact that he's keeping it together, like in the face of not having, you know, doctors, in the face of the review. I mean, I think that's an attractive quality.
Mhm.
So, like,
Okay.
this episode may be the only one where I'm like, yeah, I could see being into Greg. We'll see
Look,
what he does in the
listeners,
future.
I want to apologize if we're losing you. I know a lot of
Yeah.
you hate him. I know it. And we're going to give some time to your voices later in this episode because as much as we're fine with it, for those of you who hate or thumbs down Greg, we hear you. Okay?
Yes, we do. And again, I don't know. He may do many, many, many dickish things in the future where I will have to call him out and say, no, not okay with you. But this particular episode, nah, I was okay
Okay.
with him.
That seems fair. Well, let's go back to Dean and DeLuca, shall we?
I think we should.
This was strange to me. So we're going to get a
Yes.
lot of moments, not whole scenes, but moments of Ben looking lost in thought and sad.
Yeah, this was a weird, I wrote down weird opening shot.
So the reason I think this one in particular was weird, because we're going to get a lot of this sort of like Ben looking sullen motif, but they did it in slow mo.
They did. And
Why?
it's also, I think, the first time I've ever noticed him drinking
How
coffee.
could you miss it? He's next to the espresso machine. He's got the coffee cup in hand. He's looking sullen, and they thought this moment needs to be slowed down.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it felt like he was like savoring and being comforted by like a hot drink. And I feel like in this episode, I guess if I had to give it kind of a theme, it would not be things change. It would be like people thinking or reflecting. Because we see this not just with Ben, we see this with multiple characters throughout, where there's these little mini scenes of them just standing or sitting and reflecting and thinking.
On a
And then we
reality
move in.
that's already been there.
I mean,
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Fish.
it's an interesting way to do an episode, and I don't mind it, but this one right here, this was weird.
Yeah, it's just for me. It was like bit redundant. He's standing still. He's not doing anything except drinking coffee. So why the slow mo? But that's okay.
But
That's okay.
I felt the slow-mo added. It was like this moment of, because I do this, right? If I have a nice cup of coffee, I put my hands around the mug, I
Mhm.
like breathe in, I take that first slow sip. It's
Mm.
like I'm savoring it. It's very comforting. It's the best part. I don't see Ben as the type to be to look for comfort in a warm drink. It did not
Mhm.
seem consistent with his personality.
Well, that's the thing, though. I think his personality is shifting. I think he's a different guy right now than he was in season one. I think
Yeah,
that
but
he's become more reflective, and he's
unless he
not
then
seeking conversation. He hasn't very. We haven't seen him go out and get a whole new group of friends.
it's
After
true.
the swim team, after Lynn went away, where he spent a lot of season one like hanging out with the guys, hanging out with Julie, and he had people around him. And we've seen a pretty solitary Ben for a lot of season two, outside of when he was pursuing whatever he was pursuing with Maggie. But even in that relationship, I feel like he spent a lot of time thinking
Hmm.
and reflecting more than she wanted. Um, so I don't know. I think he's been like knocked into this place of really looking in at himself and not having a whole lot of people to talk to. I like where we see him go with Sean in this episode, but he
I
doesn't
do
have a lot
too.
of people.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get there. But so we've got thinking slash savoring coffee weirdly in slow motion. But then we're going to snap into seeing Javier.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, and Ben and Javier, this is just the first of many times that Ben is going to express his feelings about Greg. And they're coming up because Javier would like Ben to work on Wednesdays. And Ben can't because he's got a class. He says, "Why don't you ask Felicity?" And Javier says, "She's the one who canceled on me. She wants to work at that health center. I mean, I can't believe that some people think that health is more important than muffins."
Mm-hmm. And Ben's like, roar!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben's like, "I know why she wants to work there.
It's that Greg.
It's that Greg guy." And then we get this great little pout. We
Mm-hmm.
get like Ben goes into pout mode and he's like clearly jealous, but super cute. Um,
Yeah, Pouty Ben.
yeah.
He's Greg doesn't even have to be there. He just has to hear
No,
the name or know that Felicity's not at Dean and DeLuca to know
no.
that Greg is up to no good again. Um,
Yeah,
and then Javier is just totally oblivious to everything that Ben's putting out there. And
completely.
he's just going on and on about how, like, oh, Felicity's been talking about Greg and to saying, how inspiring Greg is. And Ben just looks like he's being crushed in a vice.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
how is
but
nobody noticing all this stuff that's going on with Ben?
well, Javier does notice that
He
Ben is
attributes
not
it to the wrong
his,
thing, but yeah.
yeah, he's not his normal charming self, but he does
Well,
not notice what happens when the word Greg comes up.
and to be fair, Javier is still thinking about lipo.
Yeah,
And he at one point, he's apologizing for his behavior that day. He's like, I forgot to take my ginkgo bill, blah blah. Which is actually kind of hard to say.
it is.
So I had to do that real slow motion, like Ben holding coffee. And then he's going into his whole like, how would it look if I did this with my face? And he like stretches his whole face, like his cheeks all the way back, and
Yeah,
asks Ben how he'd look with lipo. And Ben's like, stop.
like let's just admit, at least 80 to 90% of the people who are listening to this have done this. It's the wind tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
when you just pull everything back like you're going from 0 to 3 Gs. We've all wondered what we'd look like. And no, Ben says no, don't
Just
do it.
don't do it. Don't do that. Yeah.
You don't need that. Now can you go away? Because I got a call to make.
Yeah. Because really what just happened here is that, Javier and just like not being able to stop talking about Felicity and Greg and how great she thinks he is. Uh Ben's kind of realized like, oh, she's having conversations with other people about Greg. Like I've
Yep.
gotta, I don't know, maybe I've gotta pursue something else here. So he is gonna call Pam.
Yeah. Pam, 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 Pam.
Yeah, Pam. Um, Well, that's the opening there. Look, we have some Elena Tracy stuff. Do you want to tackle that in order or do you want to look at that later? Because they stay
Let's
pretty
look at
separate.
that all together. Let's
Okay.
let's look at that later.
So we will skip over that part for now. Let's go to, because there is some integration here. Let's go to philosophy class.
Yes.
This is just, again, sullen is the word that comes up for me a lot.
Sullen
Ruby,
for Noel or for
Ruby.
Ruby? Okay.
Ruby is is, I don't know, Ruby, it's more than quiet.
I
It's
feel
sort of
like it's
disappointed, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like it's sad. It's like
Yeah.
sad and kind of depressed. I
Hmm.
don't know that I would put like an attitude on it. Like I feel like Sullen has this sort of attitude, and I don't think she has that. I think she's a little, probably more than a little anxious,
I
and
think
she's
that
just
every
really
day that
sad.
Noel has left her in this sort of like limbo, I don't know. It's like Noel's like, I'll get back to you on how I feel about all this. And it's almost like every day that he spent in that state is making it feel less likely to Ruby that he's that anything that she wanted to happen is going to happen here. Um,
Could be.
so I don't know. It's like the longer this goes on, the more inevitable perhaps it seems like whatever hope she had starts to drop away class by class as they can't seem to get to some sort of a resolution. Um,
And we know that it's been about a week, right? And
mhm,
so it might also be a bit of a defense mechanism where she's getting more and more anxious about what's going to happen. And so she starts to kind of like pre-separate herself from
mhm,
him and say, like, I'm just going to assume the worst. And then
mhm,
if something else happens, great.
mhm.
But it's certainly not making her happy.
And she has the hourglass is flipped over here, and she's going to have to start making some decisions, some pretty big ones. She is already making some, but she's having this baby, so it's like she she's going to start showing. She has to start thinking about what she's going to do, and how long can she actually wait for Noel to say anything about what he wants or doesn't want to do. He's not even the father. So it's like,
But again, it's only been a week. I mean,
mm-hmm.
give the boy a chance to like
Yeah, I
digest
mean,
all of this.
it's really fast for expecting Noel to have an expectation of what to do. And so there we drop into this class. Ruby has this look about her. There's this sort of awkward moment as everybody's sort of collecting papers from Noel's desk, the TA's desk, and Ruby and Ben sort of lock eyes while they're up there, and she just sort of walks out of the room, just like you said, depressed. Um, Ben, Ben is kind of looking at Noel now, and he's like, "Oh, what's that all about?" And Noel's like, "Well, I still haven't told her what I'm going to do." And Ben's like, "What are you going to do?" He's like, "I don't know." And we see that there's this extension of them being able to have this conversation. They have a shorthand now.
Yeah. And Ben trying to be helpful is like, I mean, when in doubt, play basketball.
Yeah,
And Noel's just, his answer's just no. Just no. I mean, Noel's keeping it together in terms of at least being able to grade people because even though he's got Ben there as a kind of a new support system, he's still giving him a terrible grade. It's not the
yeah.
worst in
Ben's
the
like, "Oh, I
class.
guess I didn't really get Tocqueville, did I?" And Noel's like, "Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not the worst."
in
Oh,
the
well, that's nice.
class. But, I mean, he doesn't offer any like, hey, I'm your TA, I can help you out. No, he's got enough on his plate. Ben's gonna have to figure out philosophy on his own.
Yeah. I I kind of appreciate that they dropped this little piece in here because in the next episode we're going to see a bit of a payoff for
Oh,
everything they've set up here, and a scene that you may or may not remember because I have a distinct memory of you watching it and our reactions to it.
well, don't tell me and tell me if I react the same way.
Yeah, I'll let it play out organically. But yeah, they're just kind of get the pieces they're putting together here will pay off soon. You know what's not going to pay off soon, Fish?
Oh, poor Melissa.
Golly.
Poor Melissa.
Dear Sally. Oh,
She was so upset, and I started laughing so hard that I actually then had to make her rewind and listen to Dear Sally again because I didn't get anything Felicity was saying.
This was a great device.
Never.
Season 1, when Janine Garofalo as Sally was actually responding.
But it continues to bring me joy since it just rattles Melissa. She
I
does
was
not know
shook.
what to do. She was. She might
Um,
still be. But I will say, and this is going to be something I say multiple times throughout this episode. Uh, and in fact, I'm going to give this episode an award for best music so far. I tried looking up the music afterward, and I understand like what everyone's been saying about, hey, we can't find where the music is.
Sometimes
Um,
when you find music you love from the DVD, it's your worst nightmare from the show because it's like,
yeah, YouTube doesn't have it. And if YouTube doesn't have it, who has it?
I have often found that even looking up lyrics,
Yeah.
even when you hear the lyrics word for word and you type them in quotes, it often still does not produce any song because a lot of the people that they went to probably for these DVD songs were lesser known artists, independent artists who wouldn't have legal troubles with, so like they may or may not have much of
Yeah.
a presence, and so it can be a bit of a curse when you find a DVD song that you really like.
And
um
there were a number in this one. So I really liked this song as she was walking down the street, I guess, unfortunately talking to Sally. Now, I couldn't actually find a version of this song, but online it says that it's Fool's Bed by Umbrella. And of course, when I put that in the internet, I get nothing but Rihanna. Um, so I don't know if that's the actual song or not. I can't find it.
well, let's put our listeners
Um,
on the case. Listeners, anytime we post questions about music, if you have already done these searches and found them, feel free to share that information because we there is some really good stuff from the DVDs, and the ability to actually identify what it is limited.
yeah, and well, I did find that I would be able to listen to it maybe if I subscribe to Amazon Unlimited Music. But I don't want
Mm,
to pay $9 a month to listen to this one song. So,
yeah.
like, it may be this song, it may not, but whatever song it is, I very much enjoyed it.
Okay.
So Felicity is walking. She's saying, I'm overloaded. I'm busy. It's easier than thinking about family, but
This is something
eventually,
she's thought through. Like, she's not just overloaded, she's overloaded on purpose.
yeah, she's doing it on purpose because she doesn't want to think about her mom and dad.
Mhm.
But then she says, it's basically, I'm going to have to confront it at some point or other. And so this is her walking to her dad's apartment.
Mm, she's going to surprise him and
Yep.
say, let's get dinner. And then the joke's going to be on her. The surprise is going to be on her because he's like, okay, just let me get my things. And she walks into his apartment, which she apparently hasn't been to yet. And dad's place is everything's still in boxes. There's no decor. Like it's like the movers just got there. And he's
Yeah.
still just like pulling things out of he's living as much out of a suitcase as he possibly can still.
I mean, it's, single guy chic. It's, there's food around, stuff's not really put together, nothing's really been done. There's like a weird blanket over some chair. I mean, she's not used to seeing her dad like this.
Mm-mm.
Um, so you see it register on her face that she's starting to get worried.
Mm-hmm.
And but I
This
don't know.
doesn't
I
really line
saw
up for her with the put together professional guy that she's known. And she always knew him in the context of her home in Palo
right,
Alto. So,
which I'm assuming her mom decorated and took care of.
Probably. Yeah.
So it did not surprise me at all that this is what it looked like when it was just her dad alone, because he doesn't have that person now to like organize his life.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we get to a later conversation, it is going to go beyond that. This isn't just like he's a bachelor who's, like, he's also not wanting to unpack on
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah.
But we'll look at that a little bit later. But they're going to try to give us as much symbolism as possible as Felicity pans around this room. And so, in addition to the state of the actual apartment, she's going to see a couple bottles of pills on the table.
She is. And then she and Julie are going to completely mess up what they are.
Hmm.
Um, you know, she's supposed to be pre-med, or she was pre-med, and she's working in a health clinic, and she's looking stuff up on the internet, and you know, she's not correct.
Yeah.
With
Well, so
these,
the pills that she identifies that were on the table were diazepam and did she say flurazepam?
yes,
Yeah.
and
She identifies diazepam as being a sleeping pill and
which
flor
it's not.
and so what is that one?
That is the anxiety slash panic attack pill.
Oh, so she attributed that to flurazepam,
Right.
which is what?
For insomnia.
Ah, okay. So she reversed them.
Yeah, they mix them up. And it also, for the record, I'd never heard of flurazepam. Maybe because there's giant warnings all over the internet about it, and it was actually discontinued earlier this year, in 2022 by Mylan. Um, these are both benzos and should definitely not be taken together, but completely makes sense later in the episode when her dad sleeps in, because you take these two things together, whew,
Yeah. And
yeah,
that's the
these
thing
are.
too. I mean, what we may know about them now, they might not have known about them in the year 2000 or perhaps in 1999 if this was shot in
I mean,
1989.
diazepam, definitely they did. I will say that um, my father's a doctor, and he did work on actually getting diazepam through the FDA,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was very clear on what it does. Um, there weren't better alternatives. I mean, there's lithium, which is not great,
Mm-hmm.
because diazepam also, it's got a bunch of applications because it's a muscle relaxant
Mm-hmm.
as well as an anti-anxiety. So like, and it helps you deal with seizures. So
Gosh.
there were a variety of things that it helped with that it still does to this day. But I think in general, people today try to keep away from becoming dependent on the benzos because they are addictive. And I don't know whether we'll see that in this episode, but or in this series, but we'll definitely see Felicity being upset and also attributing all of her father's problems to herself because she's the worst.
I thought you would reflect on that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
she's looking up all this information with Julie, and what's hitting her is I'm such a bad daughter. I haven't even like been with this guy in like a couple weeks. Like he's there he is asking me to hang out, and I'm blowing him off, and he's all this is happening, and so she's feeling, I guess, guilty.
Yeah.
Um,
She's again taking on what is not hers to
yeah,
take on.
this is not hers to take on whatsoever.
She needs a little session with Dr. Pavone here to say, hey, stop it.
Yeah, and it's really it's so it's got to be so twisted in her mind too, right? Because on the one hand, her dad moved to New York kind of out of the blue for her. She had moved to New York wanting not to be around her parents so much and wanting to like have her own life and forge her own path. Her father now moves to New York and is dropping in on her all the time earlier this season. And the boundaries that she was trying to set were fair. Like, like she was trying to allow for that distance, and now because of the way everything is going, she's feeling guilty about having set those boundaries. But I feel bad for her that that's the conclusion that's happening here, because she still deserves to have her boundaries if she wants them. Like, exactly how much does she need to be there for and support her father to feel like everybody's doing what they need to do without going across her lines? It's just this weird thing where the stuff that we were really examining pretty heavily when he first dropped back into New York, it's now like, my boundaries don't matter. Um, and she feels bad for setting them.
Yeah, I mean, he's a doctor, and I I don't know, I think it's probably a generational thing, a like gender thing, and a doctor thing. But my guess is, I could be proven wrong, that he would be very, very anti-therapy because, you know, I mean, I guess what I would say in this situation is, hey, why don't you go talk to someone like a professional, like I am with Dr. Pavone?
Mm-hmm.
And instead, she's thinking, oh, I have to be his support system. Well, not only do you not have to be his support system, you can't do it well because you're not a trained professional.
And we had all these scenes with Dr. Pavone where she realized that this is the pattern.
Hmm.
And this is honestly, this is how this plays out in real life too, which is why it's so frustrating for all humans who are looking on to anybody going through something like this, because it's like, oh, so you have already acknowledged, it has been pointed out to you, and you have realized that the pattern in your life is that when things are complicated with your parents, the whole family leans on you to make things feel and seem normal again and to distract them from the tensions that they're feeling. And that has been a problem for you in the past and ultimately led you to move here to New York. And so she had this whole realization with Dr. Pavone, and then here we are again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say, I can again almost guarantee that um, had she moved a little further to a place like, I don't know, Uganda, her parents would not have followed her. So I think the lesson here is move
Move
to a
to Uganda.
place, yes, move to a place your parents won't follow you, even if it happens to be, you know, in East Africa when there's a civil war going on and lots of disease and death around you.
Yeah, okay, that's one lesson. We can take that lesson with us. Um, and the other one is, uh, it's like it's a pattern, right? And this really does happen in real life too. It's like, okay, I understand in my brain that this is the pattern that happens. But then when confronted with it again, the feelings that it brings up forces you right back into the following the pattern, right? Because when you go off the pattern, it doesn't feel comfortable, it doesn't feel good. And so we end up perpetuating, even when we know that we're doing things that we've labeled in the past as not healthy for us. Sometimes we keep doing it, and here it is. This is absolutely, and if anything, her dad has upped the game significantly because Felicity did set boundaries. Felicity did move away. Felicity did a lot of good things. And now, in order for her dad to sort of pull her back into the fold, I'm not saying that he's doing this in a manipulative way necessarily. Sometimes people do. But in order for him to like shake her out of her new pattern and bring her back to the old one, he's upping his game. He's having more personal reveals. Like this, the type of conversation that he's having with her later in this episode is probably much more personal, like him sharing much more personal information than he's ever shared with her. And
Yeah.
so, like, that's the kind of thing where, oh, now she feels like his confidant. He's like sucking her back in. And it's actually the same pattern that was happening before. It's just that his technique got a little stronger and
I
he
don't
revised
know.
it a bit.
She specifically asks him at that point, to be honest with her,
Mm-hmm.
because it's making her more nervous to not hear what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's sort of a jumble of things going on with
Yeah.
her anxiety and what she's taking ownership of and what she's asking of him, and the fact that she's getting older. And, you can't have those conversations with a 12-year-old. But she's now in college and he needs somebody to talk to, and she doesn't know the right response to that.
Mm.
So I think there's a lot more that's going on there than just like it's a tactic for like pulling her in.
Yeah, I don't necessarily mean that in his case he's actively thinking about using it in that way, but I think that is the result.
Yeah, but I think it's on both their parts,
Yeah.
especially since she specifically asks him.
Yeah.
Um, but for this scene, I only have one thing to say about Julie. I I love her earrings. They are fantastic.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah,
It's good stuff. We're not going to see a whole lot of her in this episode, so you'll get that much at least.
yeah.
Um, we are going to see Felicity and her dad again, though, shortly after this. They're walking out on, out on a New York street somewhere, and Felicity is rambling on about how all this help is needed at the health center, and she's speaking very passionately and in a roundabout way ends up sort of asking her dad to help work there.
She comes out and says, "I have a favor to ask you."
Okay, but she's going through. Oh, there's a review coming up, and then
Yeah,
that they're doing all this good stuff, and then she rolls around to her ask,
yeah,
and he agrees. He says, I will jump in and help and fill in for. I guess it sounded like more than one doctor had backed out.
yeah. It seemed like there was only one doctor left at
Yeah,
the health center, but or the health clinic. I don't know.
I have to
I
say, I think
wonder.
they usually call it health center, but I guess clinic comes up sometimes.
Yeah. Um, I wonder if she would have asked him to volunteer if she hadn't had that experience in his apartment. I feel like she would have kept strong and just let Greg deal with the doctors. And
Mhm.
in fact, the reason she's asking him to come is more the and we can spend time together
Mhm.
aspect of it.
Okay. That could be. I looked at it in a slightly different way, but I fully want to embrace your point as well. I was wondering if she would find it more awkward to put that ask in front of him, thinking like maybe she thought he was overloaded with a lot of things, not just like, do you want to put more on that person's plate? But you're right, she was in this location and it would give them a chance to be around each other. It would also give her a chance maybe to keep her eye on him a little bit.
Yeah.
um so I think there's a lot of stuff there, but I was initially thinking like, ooh, like how do you know how this is going to land? If who knows, maybe he's kind of overwhelmed right now. um
Mhm.
but she is there to give him a soft landing, so all of that is true.
And then we're going to move on to more awkwardness.
Yep, awkward is the word I had. Awkward exclamation mark. That's what I put. um
So,
Philosophy class.
yep.
And actually, well, not really the class. Noel's just in the room, right? And
Mhm.
Ruby rocks in, looking all distant.
And also gorgeous. She's looking
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
And, her and Noel, they take a second to be like, "You're looking good." Um,
And I like Noel's, and she's like, "You look good too, Noel." And I was like, "Okay, well." He's not pregnant though. Neither here nor there, really. But it's
Yeah,
just awkward.
it's awkward. Noel asks about morning sickness, and Ruby's like, it's fine. She looks super sad and depressed. She's like, here, can you sign this? I don't want to be in the section anymore. Like, we just can't keep pretending not to see each other. And then I love Noel's response. He's like, I see you. Believe me.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. But
mm,
nonetheless, she still gives him the transfer form to sign. And he's like, I'll do it. I'll take care of
he's
it.
like, I'll do it today. I'll turn
Mhm.
it in today.
That's what he
And
says.
then they do this a couple of times in this episode. I really like this shot
Me too.
because Ruby is out in the hallway and Noel can't see her and she can't see him, but we can see both of them.
Hmm.
And I don't know, I really enjoyed that moment of like each of them side by side, sort of
And
processing their emotions.
you're right. They do that technique a couple times in this episode and in totally with totally different impact in the cases that they do it with. So in this one, it's funny because it's like in a way there is an actual wall between them now, but even when they were in the same room, it felt that there was a wall between them anyway. Um,
Yeah.
and then she exits the room. We see her through the doorway. We see him, and I was really kind of focused on her, and she just looked like she could have walked away to the next place she was going, and she was just hesitating because it was almost like, is there something else I should say to him? Like it was almost like there was a thing she had in mind that she wanted to say to him. And she was hesitating, trying to figure out if she would do it. And then we can see that she just kind of gives up on the idea. Um, but it was very much like the wall between them was a disconnection.
Yeah. I mostly focused on her too, and it was just sad. It was really, I don't know. I felt like both of them were processing emotions, and she was kind of standing there being like, okay, did I really do this? Like, am I really accepting this as like he's he's not going to be around?
Because the thing is, like Amy Smart could have played this differently. Amy Smart could have played this in a way where it's like, well, this could have been a manipulation. Like if I force his hand,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe it was a move of hope. That's not what we got from her here. This was
No.
like a
Resignation.
resignation. Whoa.
Ah, Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Oh, is that what happens?
Yeah.
Guys, resignation. How about that word? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it must be true if we both landed on it at the same time in an
Yeah.
eerie way.
I mean, it's kind of what I was saying before about her starting to push him away,
Mm-hmm.
just sort of, yeah, accepting that this isn't going to happen. And if it does, great, but like I need to prepare myself for the worst.
Yeah, so true. Well, let's talk about preparing for the worst, shall we? Dr. Porter shows up at the health center and Greg's pumped. Greg's like, thank God I have another doctor here.
Yeah.
Boy, you are a cardiac surgeon, huh? Okay, you are well overqualified for this work, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for being
Felicity's
here.
like, my dad can help out. And Greg is like, great. We're loving that.
Yep.
Cardiac surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yes. That
That,
we're just gonna
that
get
may
that little
change
moment
later.
here. Yeah, that might be
Yeah.
like just don't speak
Yeah.
too soon, Greg.
And he
We're
may
gonna
waffle back and forth on that a few times.
Yeah, you may live to regret this, but it's all right. And then you might live to be appreciative of it again. Who knows? It'll come full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
So we have a moment here. We're going to head to a scene with Sean, and there's so many things I want to say here.
God, I hope one of them is the word I have written down. But please go through and say all your stuff. And if you do not say the word that I am thinking of, I'm
Fruit.
going to be upset.
That's my word.
It's not the one I'm thinking of.
Okay. So we're going to get into a scene with Sean and Ben that I think sets up some really nice conversations between them in this episode. But before we get there, so Ben is walking into the loft, and what he walks in on is Sean watching a piece of his documentary, because ultimately he is prepping the documentary to pitch it to the independent film channel. But what he's watching is the part where he's interviewing Julie, and he says, "Let's sell fruit together." And she giggles. And that's the part of the video he is on. Fish, what do you think I'm thinking about right now?
Not the word I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay. Well, this is just an aside, and I thought I would just pull, I wasn't going to pull this in, but then this is just asking me to. So,
yeah. I mean, you have to.
Somebody recently had a birthday.
I don't know who.
It was you.
Oh, right.
And a couple things I want to say about this. So, well, first of all, Fish is amazing. And so, as part of the gift for Fish, we got a little message from Sean Blumberg / Greg Grunberg. And if you follow us on Instagram, you already know about this. If you don't, you got to go to Instagram because
just for this video, it is worth it. It is worth it.
Greg Grunberg left the best cameo video.
It's worth signing up for Instagram just to watch this video, and then you can unsign up.
Please, just check this out. Greg Grunberg wished Fish a happy birthday, but really it was also a happy birthday from Sean. And I think if you've watched the video, you will know how seamlessly those two things hang together. And in the whole middle section of his video, he was talking about how he basically forced JJ Abrams to put him on this show. He's like, "I've got to be on the show." And JJ was like, you're definitely not college age. He's like, "Put me on as like an entrepreneur guy." And so he goes into this whole thing about how in his real life, he was an entrepreneur and did all these different jobs. And he lists some of them, one of which was he actually sold fruit door to door.
Yep. That was an actual idea for making money from Greg Grunberg, who was then, that was then translated directly into the show.
It was in the finally episode where Julie helps Sean sell fruit in the library.
Yep.
And it just so happens that the very next podcast we go to record, we're watching an episode where he's like, we see this little moment of the documentary where Sean behind the camera tells Julie in front of the camera, "Let's sell fruit together." I was like, this is amazing. So much funnier. Wouldn't have been funny before, but now it's great. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love it.
Just like a little snapshot into someone's life who is a real person, and we need to respect that, but also just amazing, because he personally says that a bunch of the stuff about Sean came from his real life, because, he and JJ Abrams and Matt Reeves were all friends, and they were basically like, I guess if we're going to put him in there, let's just make him him. And then we get this fabulous character.
Yeah. Oh, so first of all, huge thank you to Greg Grunberg for being awesome.
Yes.
Second of all, because I don't want to not say this before we move on back to the show we're watching, how amazing are the people on Instagram?
So amazing. I mean, all of the comments that we got, I mean, not only did like the message bring me so much joy, and I watched it so many times, but then your comments back to us, which I'm sure Melissa has like a ton of them written down for the later segment, but
I'm
You
not going
guys
to
are
necessarily
funny.
reference those for the audience feedback. That one feels like go to Instagram and enjoy it, folks.
Oh, please do. I mean, so funny.
But
So funny. Aunt Mary 72. We love you. We love you. Speaking of her, um, Melissa, I'm looking for a word, and that's your clue.
I'm looking for a word from Sean or from Ben in this scene.
About Sean.
Goatee.
Mm, God, he doesn't
I-
have a goatee. He has a mustache.
Well,
The
your segue
word
really
is
confused me. He
mustache.
had a mustache.
Oh my goodness, how did you not notice
I
he had a
didn't see
mustache?
it.
Ah.
Guys, this isn't a running joke. It is a running joke. I didn't see a mustache.
How?
I don't
How is
know.
that possible?
I
He
don't
turns
know.
around and the first thing I see is, ooh, mustache.
I don't know.
Um,
I'll get this checked out. I don't know how I'll get it fixed, but we'll figure it out. Okay.
all right. So you did not win
Whoa.
on the mustache comment. But he does. He has held on to that stash and he's wearing it the whole time. That he's talking to Ben about the independent film channel and wanting to, make stacks of cash. Uh, and Ben just says, please don't send it. Um, like
That's the
that's
thing
the
that
one
I'm in. Yeah, don't
yeah,
send that.
don't send that. And Sean's like, it's happening.
Yeah, this thing is happening whether you like it or not. And then he's wondering what Ben's up to. Ben's like, I'm going on a stupid date.
Yep, like it's one word, stupid date.
Yeah, stupid
Just
date.
this is gonna be bad.
Sean's like, maybe not the best attitude to have going into your date. It's like, it's going to be
Yeah.
stupid. Not no point to it.
Yep. Yep. This is a girl. I don't know her. Pam, 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 Pam.
Boy, oh boy. Cut to that.
Yeah,
Pam and
let's cut to
Ben.
that date because I'm just gonna say Pam is delightful.
Pam's awesome. Pam is my
Yeah.
note for an optimist.
Amazing.
Pam's amazing.
She is
We
amazing.
love Pam. Pam,
I love her.
if you exist in real life, I want to meet you.
Absolutely.
Let's be
We be
friends.
friends.
Yeah.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. I owe me two
Oh my
Cokes.
gosh. What does it all mean? Look, and the thing is, Ben knows it. Pam's
Yeah.
fine.
No,
There's
not
nothing wrong with
fine.
Pam.
Not fine. He says lots of nice words. She's funny. She's
He's
gorgeous. She's got all these things.
Ben is
He's
very aware and respectful of what the situation is. He heads into this date planning for it not to be good. Pam turns out to be delightful.
uh-huh.
And he's like, oh man, she's delightful.
I know.
But I can't. And
Yeah.
then he gets honest with her later. It's like, okay. And then she's amazing about it.
I know.
Pam,
Right?
Pammy,
Love you,
Pammy, Pam,
Pam.
Pam. Sweet baby Pam. I don't know what to tell you.
Look,
Look, Ben's a
you'll
good
find
guy.
someone.
He's just not.
He's
He's just
not
not for you.
there. And they have good chemistry. I mean, it's like throughout this date, he sits down and he thinks, ugh, this is gonna be boring. And she starts out with like, I can eat a lot, which he's like, I can eat a lot too. Like he's charming.
Mhm.
And then she goes into this whole story about, oh, yeah, I was volunteering for the Red Cross in Bosnia for 6 months. And he's like, whoa, that's cool. And then
And
she's like,
she,
and I'm on scholarship. And he's like, wow,
she's like,
that's
what?
amazing.
Aren't you this fancy New Yorker with all this money? She's like, no, I'm from Bishop, Oregon. My dad runs a paper mill or works in a paper mill.
Yeah, he
That's what
pulps
you
the
do in
paper.
Bishop, Oregon.
She has
He's,
five siblings. She's five brothers,
yeah,
one of six. I
Pam's
mean,
cool.
Seems cool, and they have chemistry. Like Ben has definitely got a little flirt going on.
He
He's like
does. And
appreciating her.
I really like the way Scott Speedman did it because there's a reluctance to their chemistry. Like, he's like, oh man, this is
Yeah.
working out.
I
And
know.
like, and he's being shy and bashful because he doesn't really want it to work out. And it is in spite of himself.
Hmm.
And he's like, she's actually really nice. Like, you can see it hitting him. He's like, I was sure this was going to fail.
Yeah.
And here it is not failing.
What do I do about
And he's
this?
not trying to be a jerk. Like, he could have been actively trying to sabotage it. He's in the conversations with her. He's finding her engaging. And it's just like he's gonna have to come to grips with what to do about that, which he will quickly.
Yeah.
And he's
But
not gonna
he's
string her
trying.
along.
No, but he is, I feel like he's trying.
I
You
think it's
know,
like,
he's
well, maybe this could be.
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we'll
Pam,
get
we love
a,
you.
we do. You're amazing. Um, but we're gonna get a quick little interlude here where I mean, in my opinion, what is going on is Greg and Felicity's dad have both just like whipped their dicks out and are trying to figure out which is bigger.
um I don't
Would you
even
like
know
to
who I
describe the
side with
actual?
here. Like, it's this really weird dynamic where it's we see that Edward Porter has taken command at the health center. He's like ordering an EKG. He's for somebody that he just saw. He's acting like he's in a fully resourced hospital. He's
Yep.
doing the things that he would do in a fully resourced hospital. And that's getting Greg nervous because he's like, on the one hand, I appreciate that I have a doctor here who can help. On the other hand, you are overspending our budget.
Yeah.
like like Greg literally can't afford for a doctor to come in and just like order tests that don't need to be done. Um, and so he pushes back in kind of a passive aggressive way at first. It's like, are you
Yeah.
sure?
I mean, Felicity's dad does think they need to be done, but he probably thinks they need to be done on everyone that he sees,
Well,
given
that's the
he's a
thing.
cardiac
Like, they
surgeon.
just started working together. So Greg has no real, they don't have a shorthand where, like, Greg's never had the don't order too many tests conversation with his doctor. If anything, Felicity had set up that her dad had volunteered at, what was it, the Stanford Health Clinic
Yeah.
in the past. So maybe he assumes that like her dad kind of knows that there's limited resources. So on the one hand, it's like, we haven't had that chat. So I actually don't know whether this is necessary or nice to have. Um, and they're having to have it real time around an actual patient's situation. And that makes it real awkward. But
Yeah, Felicity's trying to like, you know, explain to each one of them the other one's side and like smooth things over as she does. And they just refuse to like zip their flies back up. And in the end, turns out Dr. Porter's got a bigger one.
it goes a little sideways when Greg's like, listen, man, I've been working here for a year and I know we don't have the budget. And Edward's like, oh, a year, have you? Like, take my 20 as a doctor and a surgeon. He's like, oh God, okay, fine. Um, they're both they're both right. They're looking at it through a different lens.
Yeah, I mean it's the normal like administrative side of a hospital versus the doctor patient care side of a hospital. The I think what saves it because normally you side with the doctor, right? Like better
Mhm.
care for people. But what kind of saves Greg in this moment is this is a free clinic. Like they literally don't have the money. Like they'd have to shut the doors if you were ordering all of this expensive stuff all the time. So it's like, yeah, from this perspective, you're both making good points.
It's a conversation they would need to have at some point. Like how many tests can Edward Porter order before it becomes really problematic? So like he's raising this from the beginning, which I guess Greg does need to do. Good thing Felicity was there because it was going to become unproductive very quickly.
Yep.
But maybe now it's on Edward Porter's radar that, oh, be really thoughtful about the tests that you order. And maybe it's
That's
now on
funny.
Greg's radar that Edward Porter has 20 years of this career behind him, and
Yeah.
get out of my face.
Yeah, I don't think Felicity's dad is anywhere in the realm of focusing on this, much less like, oh, maybe Greg has a point. Like that did not seem to be what he took away from this.
No, it did not. It did
No.
not. But that, best efforts.
Mm.
Well, to the ranch. So we're gonna go to Pam and Ben at the loft.
And again, Ben is still trying. He's trying this out.
They're making out. He's
Yeah.
trying to make out.
I mean, I think he's succeeding.
He's succeeding for a moment.
Right.
And then he's just like, you can see the wheels turning and he's like, what am I doing? And he just stops and he looks down. And you can see that he's trying to be really thoughtful about how he delivers this to Pam. And poor Ben. Poor Pam.
Poor Pam. Because she's awesome. He's like, I don't know how to say this. I want to say this right. Like my head is it's somewhere else.
She says,
and Pam, not being the idiot, says,
with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Pam gets it.
Yeah,
you know why she gets it?
She's amazing.
She's amazing. We love you, Pam. Hearts to Pam. Pam, you have our heart, if not Ben's.
We should give Pam an award. Pam gets the I don't know who else Ben dates, but up to this point, best person besides Felicity.
I mean, some might argue she's more stable. like viewed from another lens, Pam is freaking awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
I really enjoy
this was about Pam.
Yeah. Pam seems to be like that. I have no baggage to present to you here on this first date sort of person. I'm sure Pam has baggage somewhere along the way.
Look,
she's led an interesting life.
Yeah, Pam was in Bosnia for 6 months. Trust me, she's got baggage. And she was working with the Red Cross. And in the 90s, if we all remember, that area was war-torn. So she's got baggage. But for now, she's going to be cool about it.
I'm telling you. Guys, hey, if you're single and you're into Pam, she was available on February 27, 2000.
She was fictional, but she was there. Look, if you ever find a girl like Pam, hold on to her. Don't get distracted.
Yeah.
But even if you can't hold on to her, if you're not in a situation, it's cool. Because, if things don't work out with whoever this other person is, you've got her number.
Yeah.
You can just give her a call.
Give her a call. Pam. Oh.
Yeah.
Pam. Exit Pam. Yes. So let's go back to the health center. It's the day of the review.
There are people in weird tweed jackets walking around, looking at computers. They have clipboards.
And Greg's a little stressed because Felicity's dad is 30 minutes late, which means appointments are backing up on a rather important day.
Mm-hmm. And Felicity's like, look, okay, I'll find him. I'm going to call the hospital.
Yep.
Maybe he had to stay late.
Could have been.
He's a surgeon.
Seems practical.
Right?
She's gonna go ahead and call that hospital, but guess what?
He's not there.
He doesn't work there anymore. It's been a few weeks since he worked there.
Mm-hmm.
What is this sham? You might be thinking to yourself.
Yeah, and while you're focusing on this just shocking news that Felicity has gotten from the hospital, we are going to get even more shocking news.
Mm-hmm.
Lloyd cut his hair.
Lloyd cut his hair. Felicity handled this very well because you just when Lloyd comes on screen and this reviewer is standing right next to him with a clipboard and you just know he's going to say something he shouldn't say. You know, like he's like a ticking time. It's like when is this going to go off? He's a wild card. Anything could happen here and it's probably not going to be good. And so he's like, I got a haircut. And Felicity's like, oh, that looks good. Hey, lots of big shots here. Let's keep our voices down, but nice haircut.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
very supportive of the haircut, as she
I,
probably wished more people were with her.
yeah, seriously. I mean, thumbs up to Lloyd's haircut. Look, I really enjoyed the actor who plays Lloyd made this choice at the end of that scene because she's like obviously trying to get him to like walk away from the desk and not continue this conversation. But Lloyd, as he goes to turn to leave the desk, gives this really like suspicious look to the reviewer.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a dirty but definitely suspicious look.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that choice. Made me happy.
And as we noticed, he got top billing for random other actors who were in the show this episode. So,
As
I
he
mean,
should.
as he
Except,
should.
you know what? He shouldn't because Pam.
What about Pam? I know, I was thinking that too. Maybe she got mentioned somewhere else.
Well, he's been in more than one episode so far, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but like
Uh,
we've seen him at least one other time. So, I don't know. Pam though. Okay, anyway. Dean and DeLuca.
yep, we have another bonding scene between Javier and Ben.
And you know, Javier's grilling Ben around the Pam situation.
Mm-hmm.
Date didn't work out.
It didn't. It was not good. It ended early. And Javier wants to know why. And here's where Ben is like, look, she's beautiful, brilliant, and funny.
Pam's
And
amazing. Just didn't work
yeah,
out.
didn't work out. And
Javier is reading between the lines somewhat successfully, but not all the way successfully. And he sees he's been noticing these slow motion coffee moments with Ben.
they're hard to miss.
Yeah. And so he's like, Benjamin, yeah, we have to talk man to man. We have to talk heart to heart. That's what we have to do. Let's have a chat.
And of course, they can't do it right there. They have to go to a bar that overpours the beer all over the side of the cup that Javier really does not want to pick up and or drink.
He doesn't want to get beer all over his hands. It was the perfect way to open this scene. They show us the beer glass spilling over, and then they show us Javier's hand very reluctantly, like with just the fingertips gripping the beer glass, and like trying to like get the foam. Like he's like definitely not built for beer drinking.
No.
It
He takes a
was
sip and his face was priceless. It was like, what is this?
Yeah, it was a really good choice to zoom in on the hand
Yeah,
reluctantly gripping the glass before they showed us who it was. You know who it is right
you know
away.
who it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. But Javier, he really does want to have a heart to heart with Ben, and Ben's game for it. Ben's sitting here at this bar ready to have a beer with Javier.
Yeah, he doesn't have a problem with his beer.
Yeah, and Javier's like, "You're crumbling, man. I can see it."
Yeah, he's like, I see you every day or a lot of days, and I just think that that poor guy, he's crumbling. And I want to share this life experience that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was younger, I dated a girl. Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. But her name was Lola. And
She was a woman.
she was a woman. Like he knew. He knew he was attracted to men. He knew before he got glasses that he was attracted to men. But, long story short, clearly Lola left him.
Yes.
And even though she wanted him, like in the middle of church, this was a
Anytime,
woman.
any place,
Yes,
Javier.
she was game to just climb that mountain anywhere, including the Lord's house.
Yeah.
But
anyway, the
apparently,
point of all this.
yeah. But the point is she left him. She left him asunder, and she was a woman, and therefore Javier knows how Ben feels because he too has been left asunder by a woman.
And so he's doing okay so far. Like he's hovering in the arena that he needs to be in. He has accurately pinpointed that Ben has been torn asunder by a woman. The problem is that he's picked the wrong woman.
Yep.
He's like, Ben, it's never going to work. It's never going to work. Ben's like, how is it not going to work? It's not going to work. And why? Why won't it work? And Javier's like, because she's married, Ben. And Ben's like, huh? And he's like, oh, we're having two different conversations. So this was an interesting writing choice because in this, Ben has been willing to sit down with Javier and have a conversation about feelings. And he thought Javier understood that his feelings were already, he thought Javier already knew that his feelings were about Felicity.
Mm-hmm.
But because Javier hasn't figured it out yet, it made Ben kind of clam up here a bit. So Ben is just like, you think this is about Maggie? This isn't about Maggie. And Javier's like, well, then who could it possibly be about? Ben's like, it's nobody. It's nobody.
But you're right. I have to get over it. And I just, here's another scene where I have to say, really like the music choice. No idea who it is or what the song was. Love the music choice.
I apologize to you, Fish, because when this happens in season 2, there's nothing more upsetting.
Yeah. I mean, Javier had something very upsetting that happened because Ben leaves and Javier's a little snackish. He'd like some mixed mixed things like wasabi peas or
he first asked for sourdough sticks.
Sourdough sticks would have been great. They don't have them.
They don't have those. First of all, there are two guys behind the bar right now, and they have no lines for the rest of this scene.
No.
They've never had lines anywhere in this scene. And they're just like there
to laugh.
Trying not to laugh, especially the guy on the left.
Yeah.
And how, Fish, was any of this improvised?
I have no idea. I mean, it was all in the script.
Oh, it was all in the script. Oh my God. This is just like so brilliant. He's like, do you have sourdough sticks? Well, do you have I don't know, do you have anything for me to snack upon? Like wasabi peas? Or I don't know, like lychee nuts? Anything? Like
he goes down the list of things and his last ploy is, do you have a lychee nut? Like just one. Anything to snack upon. And
something for me to snack upon? It's like, wow, this is amazing.
The answer's no. No, they don't. They have more beer they can spill all over your hand, though.
I think what we know for sure coming out of this is that Javier doesn't belong in a pub environment.
I wouldn't even call that a pub. I feel like
it's a full-on bar.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a bar. I feel like it might even have been a little fancy behind them. I mean, did you see the shirts those guys were wearing and the fancy
no.
They had? Oh my God, of course not. Did you at least see the beer levers where it's the brand of the beer is the lever, and so they look fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Does
it's
that make it a fancy place though?
I mean, the beers, I don't know, maybe it was because they couldn't have brands, but they looked like fancy beers. Like it wasn't like, Budweiser and Miller Lite. It was like
Yeah, they
fancy,
probably shouldn't
tall,
show
like
you. Yeah.
looking
Okay.
looking high class.
All right. Fair enough. Well, anyway, if you all are ever thinking about going out with Javier, don't take him beer drinking. That's for sure.
No, and always bring lychee nuts.
Always bring at least one lychee
At
nut.
least one. Right.
So we're going to go back to the health center. And Felicity's dad has now shown up, but he's pretty late, as we know. He was at least half an hour late before.
Well,
And now he's shown up. We don't even know. So Felicity, as he's getting ready, Felicity is going to go to confront him in a worried way. He's she's not trying to start a fight, but she is trying to she just learned that he's not actually at the hospital that he's been saying that he's been working at for all these weeks. It's
yeah.
concerning.
Kind of feel like maybe you let him get through the day first and then
Yeah.
talk to him.
If I were Greg, I would be like, please don't have this conversation.
Yeah.
Like any other day.
Yeah.
Any other
Or tonight.
Tonight.
Tonight is fine.
Let the workday close and then go ahead and have this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. But Greg's not there. He's not there in the room.
No, he is not. And they're going to go straight in. She's like, I called the hospital. And he's still trying to pretend.
Yeah, because he said when he walked in the door, I left the hospital late. And she's like, no, you didn't. And he's like, yes, I did. And she's like, no, you didn't. I called them. And he's
they
like,
didn't tell me.
Yeah, the woman must be on crack. So yeah, he tries. He tries pretty hard.
And then when he knows that she has caught him in that, it's like, all right, fine. And then she's like, and I saw your anti-anxiety meds
and your sleeping meds.
Gets defensive now, and which is what I would expect here. And he's like, look, I've accepted your decisions. Now you have to accept mine. And
it made no sense. Made no sense.
It did make sense to me because in the context of in his world, here's Felicity who, when he and his wife rock into New York for Thanksgiving earlier this year, she's cut her hair, she's dropped pre-med, she's dating a grad student, she's got all this big stuff going on in her life that she hadn't told them about any of this stuff. And he's equating it to that and saying, if you felt like you could have those secrets, it's okay for me to have mine. Now,
that's not what he says. He says, I accepted your decisions, now accept mine. And it's like she at no point was actually not accepting his decision. She's just asking. She's like, okay, you left the hospital. She's not throwing a hissy fit about it. She's just, where were you? And she's like, I saw your meds. She said they're sleeping pills. And he's like, yeah, okay, I slept through my alarm. And it's like, okay, so we've had that discussion. It's again, she didn't throw a fit and tell you not to take medication.
I think that when he was hearing this from his daughter, he was layering it with a judgment, whether or not the judgment was there. I think from her standpoint, what was there was worry and concern. She feels like she at one point in this episode says you don't have to keep these secrets. Her vibe is I don't want you to keep these secrets from me. It's like, well, he can keep a secret if he wants. She's kept secrets from him, and I understand the parody there. This is a health thing, but I think which adds a different layer of severity to it. But I understand this idea, she's kept secrets from him, so he can easily push back on her by citing that. But
then say secrets. Like, it's not
Yeah,
about her decision making. And first of all, you were a total dick when she made those decisions,
he was.
and you threw all kinds of shade and like backhanded stuff. Like, uh,
Hmm.
you have no leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Now,
Do you remember, Edward Porter, a certain conversation where Felicity walked out of Epstein Bar, leaving you and Barbara at a table by yourselves? Surely you
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
might not, since diazepam does lead to Alzheimer's, but
Oh.
um, you know, seeing I the on the one hand, reading his meds does seem like a violation to me. On the other hand, they were just out on the counter and he made no move to like hide them. So I don't know. Uh,
Hmm.
but these are clearly things that should not be taken together. And he's a doctor, which means he has doctor friends that are probably prescribing them for him.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I can see some real reasons to be worried here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think she's crazy.
Yeah. I think it's fair that she's asking him about it, and I think what would we expect other than him being defensive about it here?
Yeah,
If anything, I appreciate that he at least stayed at the health center and finished out a shift or started his shift.
I think he
So
needed to at that point. I
pretty much
mean,
had to, yeah.
what else
Um,
was he going to do? Go back home and go to bed?
yeah. But I suggest that we actually, even though the next scene has Elena in it and we've been saving Elena scenes, it also is more about Noel. So
So
um,
we can just skip the,
Tracy Elena part we can skip, but let's
yeah,
go to the
and then go
Elena
to the
Noel
Knoll.
piece.
Yes, I agree.
So Elena and Noel are in their apartment. Elena's sweeping wallpaper. Uh, her apartment is a mess.
Yeah, I have written down so much wallpaper.
Yeah. So she's doing that. Noel's sitting on the couch, not helping, and having a conversation about, well, about him. And he's missing Ruby. Hmm.
Oh, this is just another not great moment for Noel.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do with the fact that he's missing Ruby.
Yeah, yeah, and Elena doesn't want to hear it. She's like, "Look, you walked out on Felicity and you went to go, see Hannah. Like, you are not always the victim." But
Hmm.
she also wants to be supportive, so she's gonna listen and she's still gonna like prop him up a bit. And I mean, I will just say, because Melissa won't, she has these fantastic button up jeans on with like 4 buttons, and they're high waisted. They are fantastic. And she also has amazing earrings on.
Okay,
And
that's
Noel,
great.
for his part, he's thinned out the sideburns. So it's like I'm feeling much better about the amount of sideburn on the side of his face. His
Great.
personality is not improving, but he is upping his sideburn game.
Okay, I'm happy to thank you for your contribution there, Fish, because I couldn't have jumped in with any of that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they are walking this weird line because he's like trying to decide, you know, on the one hand, I wish I could be a guy who could just overlook the fact that she cheated on me and she's having a baby with another human. Like, that's a problem. But then, you know, if that's such a problem, why is he missing her? And why is he thinking about how she's feeling? And like, you know, he can't stop worrying about Ruby.
I just can't with Noel. I
Okay.
just can't. Like, first he wants to be the guy who can like be supportive and like have a child with her, and you know, but he can't be that guy. And now he wants to be the guy who like doesn't give a shit about like a woman he cares about. And let's remember that while she was cheating, so was he. And it
Yep.
seems to be that he really hits it here. I'm sitting here looking like an idiot. So it's like, not only does he want to be like even worse of a person than he is. The reason that he wants to be that bad person is so that he doesn't look like an idiot. So it's like all about him and self-image. Like, you've got this woman out here, she's having a baby, you care about her, you were cheating on her too. How about you just like accept that you are a dick, but like not as much as of a dick that you want to be? Like, you don't need to actually aspire to be more of a dick, Noel.
Wow.
That is, yeah, I'm telling you, I can't. I just can't with this guy. And like, Elena comes in and tries to make him feel better, and I actually don't respect that move at all.
Interesting. Fish
Yeah,
is
I
taking a
was
very
not a
hard stance
fan.
here.
I was not a fan of this scene.
I'm really curious where you sit right now in terms of the Ben versus Noel debate. In terms of like, look, your arguments against Ben were pretty strong as we got to the end of season one.
Yeah.
Um, do you what are your where do you think now?
I don't know. I need to see more Ben because, I mean, my arguments against Ben were he's punching people, he's gambling, he's, being an addict, he's not stable. Like, this is dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always said that Noel, who I thought was this great guy, is actually a total dick, and he's becoming even worse. But like, I'm also not fully comfortable with Ben yet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not there to the point where I feel like he's not going to turn around and maybe punch someone or like deal with things badly.
Okay.
Uh,
So you're kind of a
so
team not prepared to commit to either one of those. How about Team
you know
Sean?
what I am? Yeah. I'm Team Sean.
Team
Team
Sean.
Sean.
Um,
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. That's 3 Cokes in one
I don't
episode.
even know what to do about this. I've never heard this rule.
How have
Okay.
you've never heard of Jinx?
I've heard of Jinx, but I didn't know owing somebody a Coke was part of it.
Well, the other way to play Jinx is that you can't talk until I say your name, and that's going to be terrible for a
That would be hard for a
podcast.
podcast. That would be not a very good podcast at all. Okie doke.
So I'm going with the Coke route.
Well, look, I can very much appreciate where you're coming down here with Noel. I think there's a balance for me here because I think that part of how you're interpreting this scene is colored by like how you've seen all these previous scenes with him, although you were still coming down pretty harsh on like some of the stuff Noel was saying, even really early in season one. I think, I can understand going back and forth between options and trying to figure out which way to go. And I can understand looking at it from the framework of like, what would a good person do here? Like what's the if there is in fact a binary good versus bad choice here, what is that? And I don't think that's actually what this situation is. I don't think it's binary in that way, but I think that
But
when
let's
you're
say it
hammering
was.
out choices and like what you should do in a complex situation that has a lot of stakes, I do think it's fair that he's looking at it so deeply in this way. But I can also see your point that like Ruby doesn't really seem to be a factor in how he's looking at this.
But let's say Noel's thinking about what a good person would do.
Mm-hmm.
What is he saying? What is this good person? Because the person he wants to be doesn't give a shit about Ruby.
Well, I think that if I look at this as a woman, thinking about if this were a woman saying this, I think about like the idea of, in fact, I think about women that I know whose partners have cheated on them.
And they were also cheating on their partner at the same time?
Well, he leaves that part out for sure. But I think if you don't include that piece of it here,
You can't not include that piece of it.
right, fair enough. But if you were to not include it, I think everything else that he's saying kind of holds up because it's like, I don't want to be the person who goes back to somebody who cheated on me. I've heard women say that a lot of times, and I get it. Now, in this situation, it's hypocritical because he was having this emotional affair with Felicity as well,
And kissing her.
and he kissed her. And so it's like, I get that there's that complexity. Um, and he's simplifying it by just saying, look, she cheated on me, and this baby that she's having is not mine. It's this other person's. And so it's like, uh, you could say, I don't want to get back together with that. I also don't even know, like, it's so binary the way he's looking at this, because there doesn't seem to be any room in his mind at this point for saying, what does being with her look like? Does it have, there are many shades of what that could be. And so the way that he's like all or nothing about Ruby feels, I'm glad that when we get later in the episode, he finds a gray area, because here it's like, so what are you weighing? What are the options that you're weighing out? Which he doesn't really elaborate on, but it's like, is he looking at this like I have to be what in a full relationship with her and support her like as a partner versus ditch her and, and like not ever be around her again? Is that what's in his mind? Is he looking, is, what do you think he's actually weighing out here?
I mean, what he's saying is, I want to be a person who doesn't care. And I want to be able to just walk away because
Mm-hmm.
I look like an idiot right now, even
Yeah.
caring about her. So he hasn't even gotten to the part of forgiving her, which is what comes next. He's like,
Yeah,
you
Elena's move
know,
here, because he's looking at Elena and he's like, "You think I should forgive her?" And Elena's like, "Well, that's what sets you apart." And he says that he's like, "I know what you're thinking, Elena. This is what you're thinking," and it is what she's thinking. So in a way, it's like maybe he wanted that advice. Um,
yeah. But I think also this idea of forgiveness then allows him to see the gray area. Because once he can get past the idea of, I don't have to just, like, I don't have, like, I'm not an idiot, because Elena does say forgiveness makes you strong, not weak. And she is being supportive. I think she's going a little far with the guy who's being a dick, but fine.
mhm.
Once he gets to this point, then he can say, all right, so if I'm not being an idiot and I can forgive her, then he can think about, so what does it look like to care about her?
Okay, so
Does it
you
have
think
to
he
be a
hasn't even
full?
really explored that yet? Because I was just sitting here thinking, I wonder if it was if we got a little shortchanged by not seeing some of those Ben and Noel conversations. I wonder if they did talk about what was the alternative in Noel's mind to walking away. Like
I don't
walk
think they
away
got
or
there.
what? Okay, so maybe that was left totally unexplored.
Yeah, because the only thing that we have seen between the two of them is Ben kind of sticking up for Ruby and saying, like, was it totally her fault? Like, you guys weren't together so long, and like that's all we saw.
Okay.
So like, and this in this conversation, it doesn't seem like Noel has forgiven her, and he's like, I've got this emotional feeling where I miss her, and yet I feel like an idiot because I just want to walk away. Like, he hasn't gotten to the point of like, I can forgive her and have any kind of relationship without feeling like an idiot.
Okay, that helps me because I was getting a little stuck on the like, what is he deciding between? So in your mind, what he's deciding between here is forgive her or not forgive her.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I
Um,
mean, that's how I read it
okay.
or watched it.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there was like a level of what obligation do I have that layers onto that. And it's, I think I'm more comfortable to think that that's not, he didn't get that far because it makes more sense to me. Um,
And we have to remember, again, it hasn't been that long.
yeah,
Like, still less than a week. And but then again, who knows? Because I am often distracted by things like fantastic jeans and great earrings.
sure.
So,
Mustaches.
and sideburns.
So, we are going to drop in on a conversation, the end of a conversation Ruby is having with, was it her mom?
Yes.
we can tell that she hasn't said anything about her pregnancy to her mom yet, at least from the conversation she's having. And Noel over here, like he walks in as this conversation is ending and he realizes, like, oh, you haven't even told your parents about this yet. She's like, no, she hasn't told either of them.
I mean, again, she's known for less than a week,
Yeah.
so give her some time.
Yeah.
Um, but nope, she has not. She has not told them. And here is where Noel, has finally thought through, all right, I can forgive her, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be together with her.
Yeah. He approaches Ruby and says, you know what? I don't want you to switch sections, like because she earlier in this episode had applied to switch out of his, not his class, but he didn't want him to be
His
the
section.
TA anymore. And
Yeah.
he said he'd do it, and now he's saying he won't. And he ups it a little bit and he says, look, I do want to be there for you as a friend.
Yeah. He says, look, I thought about it for a week. And so we know that it's now been a week. And I understand, it took me a while, but I understand why you need to go through this, like why this is your choice. And I hope you can understand why I can't go with you on this journey, because I just can't get over the fact that it's not my kid. However, like, I can still be there for you. I can still support you as a friend, and I can still care about you. Um, and I think Ruby does well here in just saying, like, I think I might need a friend
Yeah.
because she is gonna need support.
Yeah, she is. And so I think she's willing for that to be the place where this lands.
I
And
mean,
it gets him out of this weird limbo of not knowing what's happening to be able to
yeah,
say at least this much.
yeah, because if I would, I mean, God forbid, but if I were Ruby in this situation, I don't know that I could be friends with Noel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought I was having a baby with this man, and now we're gonna be friends?
See,
Like,
but
I don't
that's where
know.
it kind of comes apart for me because how did she know, like, how did she have her heart set on this being Noel's baby when she knew full well that she had had sex with somebody else? So it's like if she was that locked in on Noel being the father of this child, that's pretty short-sighted of her own. Like, we didn't see that she had this one night stand, but she lived that. It's as if she's forgetting it too. And
But
I don't think that makes sense to me as a viewer. It's like, yeah, you could have had your heart set on this being Noel's kid, but you didn't know that this was Noel's kid.
yeah, I think we have to accept Ruby for who she is. And when she says things like, it didn't even occur to me that it could be this other guy's, like, I don't think that's a lie. I
Mm-hmm.
think it did not even occur to her.
Okay.
Um, she's, she's not introspective and like deeply analytical, it doesn't seem. um, so I don't know. I don't know. I believe her. Um, and she's, she's had so much kind of blind faith in him, since she told him and he's like, it's going to be okay. And she rests her head on him and says, I know. And he was this whole support system. And, you know, she looks so sad and depressed that I do feel like this is heartbreaking for her. And at least for me, I just couldn't handle that. So she's She's just clearly a very different person from me
Yeah,
in almost every aspect.
it's fair.
But it's good.
Well,
It's good that she can be friends and she gets that support.
yeah. Yeah, well, if she's going to put her kid first, like part of that is having a support system for herself. And so maybe she's just looking at this through a new framework of what it means for her to be an adult with this situation.
Well, if she was thinking that, she'd tell her parents.
Yep. Yeah, she's getting pretty close to needing to have to.
Yeah.
At some point, somebody's insurance is going to start coming up with some very strange charges.
Mhm.
But so we are now going to move to an absolutely beautiful shot of
Yes.
Felicity looking out at a skating rink. But
Yep. It's definitely winter.
yeah.
And it's another one of those like little shots like like the one with Ben and his coffee.
Mhm.
We just get a little shot of her thinking before she goes on to do anything else. And there's just another song I love here.
Oh.
I don't know what it is,
Oh.
but I love this song.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, and so it continues the season two
yeah,
DVD music.
pretty much.
I have my own ones that I'm like, oh, what is that? Yeah, folks. Hey, if you know what any of the songs in this episode are, you go ahead and let us know.
Yeah.
Um, Felicity has now given it some thought, and she's going to drop by her dad's place for a serious conversation.
Yeah. And he's gonna start with a little small talk. Is the health center okay? And then he does actually apologize for what he said
Mm.
because it didn't make any sense. Um,
And he says that
but
he
yeah,
didn't
he
want
does.
her to worry about him.
Yeah, I mean, Felicity says, I got this horrible feeling in my stomach, and I was worried, and her dad's like, well, that's why I didn't tell you this stuff, right? Because I don't want you to worry about me, and I'm fine, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I'm fine.
And then she's like, but see, that's the problem because when you say that, it makes me worry about you.
Yeah,
It's like, which to an extent, there are certain things that he's dealing with here that he can decide or not decide to talk to his daughter about it. Like, and if she's feeling worried to some extent, she needs to get over that if he's not comfortable to confide in her. So it's like she's going to need to find that balance with him. They do have a heart to heart here and they do have a conversation here. But in
yeah.
reality, like he doesn't have to confide in her. And if it's causing her worry, maybe she goes to Dr. Pavone with that worry.
Yeah, I do think it's a two-way street. I mean, she says, I just want you to be honest with me. Well, that's what he wanted from her too,
Mm-hmm.
right? So either, you guys start being honest and communicating as adults, or you keep stuff to yourself and the other person just has to deal. And so here they're kind of choosing, and he's leading the charge with some honesty.
Yeah. And to be fair, like going back to what I was just saying, like I think this is an important conversation for them to have where she can say, I don't want you to protect me from how you're feeling. Like for her to say, I'm an adult and like I can handle it and I want to support you. And then it's his call if in the future he'll do more of that. And she's going to have to figure out how she manages his choice for herself. But it's certainly important that they had this conversation because it's sort of her transitioning to like it's almost like a transition point for him to start looking at his kid as a woman, like to start looking at his child as an adult. That what's his good relationship with her going to look like now? And this is them trying to figure out if there's a new level they need to find.
Yeah, and what that kind of looks like because, as we talked about with her patterns, Felicity tries to help. Um, and I don't know, I feel like she's doing a little bit better here. She's lending an ear. She's
Mhm.
saying, I want you to be honest with me and I'd like to hear about what's going on.
Mhm.
Also, she has led to the cleaning up of his apartment, which I applaud.
Mhm. Yeah, that's good stuff. But you're right. I mean, I think to call back to the previous boundary she was trying to set, she's going to have to figure out where that needs to be now. And, you know, in these new circumstances that aren't really that new in terms of the
Mm,
pattern, but they're new in terms of the severity. Um, and, Dad's looking pretty miserable here. He's like, I thought this would all be temporary. I was pretty sure that if this stuff stayed in these boxes, I'd be packing up and moving back to Palo Alto at some point. Um, he's having to figure out how to let it go.
yeah,
And he says he
he thought
misses
her
her
mother,
mom.
yeah, and he thought that her mom was going to call him
Mm,
and ask him to come back,
yeah.
and she has not.
Yeah, she's been staying firm in what she
Mhm.
decided she needed. He misses her. And Felicity says, have you told her that? And he says, yeah.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a heartbreaking moment there. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, I mean, I would have had the same question as Felicity. Well, okay, you're saying all these nice things that you miss her. Like, have you actually said this to her? And for him to say, like, yeah, like I shot my shot and
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah. And that's, which means that the place that he's in now is having to accept, he tried the conversation where he won her back and he didn't win her back. So,
Mhm.
I guess this is it. And even with that, he was lingering in this, apartment full of boxes that, were unpacked and or
Which
were still
now
packed.
which now makes a lot more sense because his whole excuse of the university apartments weren't open. Well, yeah, you don't get a university apartment if you're not working at the university.
Mm-hmm.
So he's now stuck in this crappy apartment uh, with no job in a new
Mm-hmm.
city. So, hey, I don't
Yeah.
know.
And Felicity, as he says to her this heartbreaking thing, yeah, I did tell her I missed her. Felicity just says, "Dad, I'm so sorry," and it's the kind of thing Felicity would have said to a friend. I feel just listening to that.
Yeah, um, yeah, I think it's just something she'd say in general, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She is sorry that this situation has occurred and that he is feeling pain and never mind all the, terrible ways that he was to her and her mother, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She's very empathetic.
Yeah. Well, let's head to one more Sean and Ben conversation. So we're back at the loft. Ben's just come back. Sean's like, "Oh, Felicity called. Can you take over her shift?" And to which Ben is like, "Greg's a dick."
Yep,
It's
one
just
more
like,
time.
there can only be one reason.
I wrote down here, Ben can't stop calling Greg a dick.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's just, which is why the 63% of me thinks you're a dick is so funny because usually it's just Greg's a dick.
Yeah,
Like
it's like
I like that he added
100% of
that
it.
little spice to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben
And
also is going to go a little further with this and he's like, Felicity is being an idiot. Ouch.
yeah. And I I really like Sean in this moment. Um so, you know, Ben says Felicity's being an idiot. And Sean's like, whoa. And Ben says, look, it's my opinion. She's being an idiot. And Sean says, why do you have an opinion?
Yeah.
And it's like, he's like there being like, I see you, Ben. I
When
see
did
you. And
Sean
then
become
Ben
so
turns around.
accurate? You know, like
I
when did
know.
he become so
Insightful Sean.
subtle, insightful, sensitive? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know when it happened, but it's been happening for a little while.
And
Um,
I'm enjoying it.
it's really fun.
Um,
He was doing it with
yeah.
Julie in a
Yeah.
recent episode. It's just like we're getting a softer side of Sean, and the people in his life are getting exactly the feedback they need right now. And maybe they were before
Yeah.
too, when he was being rough around the edges. I don't know, but the quality of what Sean's delivering is quite different.
Well, his advice early on wasn't the best. His advice has gotten significantly better. Um, because,
Maybe,
and I do like this back and forth here where like
yeah,
Ben, where Sean's like, I see you, Ben. And then Ben turns around and is like, I see you, Sean. Let's have a conversation about Julie. And then Sean's like, I see you, Ben. This isn't about Julie.
yeah.
And it was so great with the two of them going
It was
back and
so
forth.
great. And the thing is, the way they delivered this could have taken a real hard turn, because when Ben says, so why haven't you told Julie you love her? What I heard from him was not an accusation. It wasn't like I'm not listening to you because of this. It was a question. It was like so why haven't you?
Yeah, it was like, please explain to me, like, why I also have not told Felicity. Like, are we on the same
Yeah,
page with why we haven't
it
done
was more
this?
like that to me. It was not a challenge to him, but easily could have been delivered as one, unfortunately, because the way that it was worded has that setup that it could have. And I got the same thing that you did of like, is there something for me to learn about my situation by knowing why you haven't told Julie you loved her? Um, and that's where I thought this was coming
And
from.
yeah, I agree. And then Sean, poor Sean, he gives this whole monologue about how much he loves Julie and like he doesn't want to get shut down and he knows he's in the friend zone.
Yeah, it's like if as soon as I ask her, I know I'm going to get friend zone real hard. So I'd rather have the hope. That's his answer. But then that's his answer. But then it's like, but this isn't actually about me and Julie, is it?
And Ben's like, nope, not at all.
Yeah.
It's about me and Felicity and Greg, who's a dick.
Well, I mean, in this part, he's more like, you know what? I think I'm ready for Felicity.
He says that a little bit later, but he starts out with, Felicity admires Greg. Like he's pre-med, he runs the health center, and she looks up to him and she's into that. And I don't have any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I find it a little strange that he then says, and remember like a while ago when you said I wasn't ready for Felicity, like I still feel like you were wrong then, and also I'm ready to be with her now. And I'm like,
For me, I was thinking
things
about it
don't
more
go
in the
together at all.
context. Yeah, I think the part that you're layering in of him still coming down on Sean for having given bad advice before, I wasn't hearing that in this conversation. I think what I'm hearing is him saying, here's what I think Felicity likes about Greg. I don't have those things, but I think I'm ready for Felicity. And I think this was him saying, I am ready now. To me, this was not about him looking at his past conversation with Sean and saying, you were wrong then. This is more about him saying, I'm ready now. But I do think he realizes that he has, and it might be unfortunate that they left this out of this speech. I think that he does, in fact, realize that he needs more of this quality that Greg seems to have to be compelling to Felicity. And we are going to see we're going to see him working on that in upcoming episodes. Like he is going, and because Pavone is still in his life, even though we haven't seen her in a couple episodes, like this is something Pavone is trying to help him with too, because Pavone, some episodes ago was like, who are you? What do you want? What are you doing? What do you care about? Like, she's like, Ben, figure it out. And he's really realizing that he needs to. So this is a journey that he's already started on. And we haven't seen that piece as much yet, but we're going to see more of it in upcoming
Well,
episodes.
it would be really great to see some of it. Something beyond him playing basketball by himself and once with Noel,
Yeah.
to show that he is ready to be with Felicity, because he has been
Yeah.
saying that he is ready to be with Felicity since, like, Sean talked him out of it. I still say correctly.
I
And at
think
no
maybe
point
that's
has
a
he demonstrated that.
I think that might be a problem with the wording of this speech because I think what might make it easier for you to swallow this speech is if he said, I'm ready to be the guy Felicity needs. Because he is
But
about to
he,
start that process. But
well,
with this speech by
being
itself,
about being about to start that process is not being ready. It's about you
do
you
it.
starting to get ready. You're not done. You don't have anything right now. You've got
Yeah.
nothing.
But I do think that with him, he's going to leave this conversation and he's going to make a beeline for Felicity. And
Right.
I think that what he's realized is already an important step. Like, I think it's a totally different, yes, it might take him years and years and years of his life to actually like have all of this lined up where Greg seems to have it right now, but maybe that's not what's important. Maybe the important thing is that he's saying, as a human, I now want focus. I want to be passionate about something. I want this. I want to know who I am, and I'm going to figure that out. Because the Ben that we saw at the end of season 1 and the beginning of season 2 wasn't thinking about those things. And he wasn't having introspective moments and deep conversations with friends, trying to figure out who he was and what they needed too. Like, I think where he is already enough of a shift that he's coming closer to what Felicity used to need. And I don't think that he has to get I mean, we spend our whole lives trying to figure out who we are, really. I think there are shifts that we have in moments where things become clear, but this is going to be an endless process for him. I think that he's pretty far along that journey to be able to say, I have a notable difference in how I'm looking at the way that I should be in this world. He just
And
needs
I
to actually find the thing.
and I think that's fine. It's not like he needs to, like, know everything. But other than making the decision that he should care about something, he's taken no other step.
I
So,
definitely don't agree with that. I think we've been saying, like, he is what was it, the last episode we were saying, like, he is the only character in the show at that moment that seemed to be looking at any of the other characters and really like being there for them and seeing what they were doing. He is observing things in a way that is really standing out, or has been standing out from the other characters in the show, because they're so focused on themselves. And so he's become very in tune with other people. He's been talking, like pursuing, having deep conversations with people about their stuff, where he didn't used to do stuff like that all the time, and he's doing it more and more now. Even your note about like the painting party, the only person who held the door for anybody else was Ben. And I think that was it sounded like it wasn't scripted, but I think it's well placed because he is really starting to look at, it's not just about him, it's about the world around him. And I don't know, I see him as being in a totally different place now than he was at the start of the season. Like, and there's more growth to happen, but I don't I don't think those two versions of Ben are in the same universe.
I mean, I do agree with that. I feel like he's becoming more supportive, he's becoming less selfish. And if we remember the reason that Sean said Ben wasn't ready to be with Felicity, it was because Ben wasn't in a place to have a serious relationship and Felicity was head over heels in love with him,
Mm.
right? And now we're in a situation where Felicity may not be as head over heels in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
And, I guess my real question is, so is he ready for that serious relationship with her?
I
And
also think there's a
that,
second challenge that was put to him because Sean put it in front of him that way. Felicity, when she was breaking up with him, said, "Look, I need to be able to talk about my feelings. I need to be able to get emotional, get upset, and have a conversation about it. And that's just how I am." And he was not prepared to meet her in that place. He wanted to be like, can't we just be, can't this just be what it is? Can't this just be fun? Can't this just be casual? And Felicity was like, I think about stuff and I want to talk about it. And he couldn't meet her there, but he's been meeting her there now, not as her boyfriend. He's been meeting Noel there, not, just as friends. He's been I think that part has completely shifted. And then the question that you posed is from the Sean challenge of like,
I think
you
it's
want it
the
to be
same
fun.
question. Like, is he ready for that relationship? And that is where I think sort of Sean is coming at it, where, Ben says, I really think I'm ready to be with her.
I
So,
think
maybe
he's
he doesn't have it
proving
figured out.
that he's ready to be there for her in those ways. The part that he doesn't have is knowing exactly who he is. And I think that's a piece that he has to work on still. But does that mean he can't be in a relationship? Like I think that he is prepared to be serious with her
Yeah.
from what
And
we're seeing.
that's sort of where I think we end this scene is he's saying, like, I'm ready to be with Felicity. And Sean, who I still agree with, turns around and says, what you doing here? Then go tell her about that. Because if you're ready to be with her, if you're ready for that serious relationship, if, you've addressed the earlier concerns, then,
I
go
think the
get her.
question is going to be, is there a new concern on the table? Because I think he has addressed the old concerns. His new thing that he's wondering is the fact that Felicity seems to be interested in Greg due to him knowing exactly what he wants in life. And I think that's a
Yeah.
new
But
thing. It's a second thing layered on. The original thing was, could he be in a serious relationship? And I think from what we're seeing, he's already behaving with the people around him like he can handle serious relationships of all sorts, including with Felicity, who, he's pursued conversations with her about her parents, and like he's gone to some really dark places with her for what she's dealing with. So I think he's sort of conquered that level of the video game. Like he's there with, that's the level that he's at now. I want to be able to have these serious talks. The problem is, like, is she now looking for somebody who, in addition to all that, has an exact idea about what they're doing for the rest of their life? And that would be a new wrinkle, but it's probably on his mind, is like, is that now the requirement? Is that the most important thing here? Because he figured out the first problem, but this is a new one.
yeah, I mean, from where I'm standing, he's now said, I'm ready to be with Felicity. So he can go tell her that
Mm-hmm.
if he wants. the question is, now is Felicity in a place where she wants to be with him? And I don't know. I don't know that I like this message here of change yourself to be with a person that you like. Like, I think him going on a self-improvement journey, great. But at this point, like, all right, I'm ready to be with her, then go and tell her is the right move, because, you know, it's then her choice. It's not, well, now she wants something else, let me become something else.
Mm-hmm. Although
Which
I do
is
think that
kind of the way it sounds like it's going to go.
Yeah, but I also think that's what's happening. What happens in college anyway. I think that's a time when people are trying to figure out who they are. It's for some people that happens at different times, but I think a lot of people sophomore year of college are like, "Oh my goodness, the future." And it seems like this big amorphous scary thing, and you're like, who you might be deciding what your major is, you might, like, it's prompted usually by something. You might be thinking, oh, I need to start getting ready for jobs after, or what do I want to do for internships over the summer, like there's all this future stuff that's bearing down on you. And he's got somebody like Pavone who's pushing him like, oh, okay, swimming's done, what are you doing now? So like he's getting this message from multiple sides. And if I go back to that time in my own life, when I was in college, what are the types of questions people always ask you? What are you going to major in? What are you doing later? Like, what do you want to do? Like, it becomes annoying. We haven't seen these characters get as much pressure like that from outside forces, but it makes a lot of sense to me that Ben would be doing this work at this time, no matter what. And I think that there's an extra incentive to do it because he's comparing himself up against Greg.
And it's fine if it's, again, the journey that he wants to take and figure out the stuff for himself.
Mm-hmm.
But it shouldn't be based on Felicity.
Yeah. We're going to have to see if we're going to have to keep an eye out for that in the episodes where he really starts to look into it, because I think there's one that's going to go in a direction you don't love, but I think that there are some that start to make it look more like, we'll have to see.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way that this conversation is delivered, where he's like, oh, Felicity admires Greg because he's got all this stuff and I don't have that, but I'm ready to be with her. Mm-hmm. And I agree with Sean. Then he's like, go tell her, like, don't wait and, try to get all that stuff. But I mean, we'll see later. He's not gonna tell her.
Yeah. It's tough too if you're in Ben's position here, because thinking, oh, Felicity might be into this Greg guy. Maybe I need to be. I don't think Felicity wants to be particularly serious about anybody right now. So trying to measure yourself up against anybody, including somebody who appears to be more successful in this situation, it's like, oh, I don't even know if that's, she's so focused on what's happening with her family. And like all this other stuff that's happening it's a nice distraction, but is it her making serious decisions about what she wants for her future? I don't know that that's where it's coming from. So it's tricky for Ben to be looking at it in that way. I appreciate that he's feeling threatened. And I get why, and it probably feels time sensitive to him. But that doesn't really mean that she's ready for a serious relationship with anybody, even if she is getting closer to Greg.
I mean, maybe not, but
who knows?
Seems like she is getting closer to Greg.
Yeah, that she is. So we're going to head from here to the health center. And Felicity drops in and Greg's ready to celebrate because they just passed their review.
Yay. He says, you want to hang out? And I assumed that meant go out to a bar or like get dinner. No, no, they're just going to stay in the health center and drink something out of the mini fridge that holds like blood samples and shit.
So this was a little
Um,
weird. So he's got this mini fridge and it's got some strange looking bottles in it. And he's like, oh, there was somebody who came in and thought they had an STD and it turned out to be chickenpox and they were really happy. So they gave me a thank you gift. Um, okay, so they're going to drink that. But then there was this line that sounded like it had been blatantly ADR'd, basically like additional dialogue recording, like you go in after and they need to get another line or they need to get it a little
yeah,
clearer or they need to add context, and so they have you go in after the whole scene's been shot and you record the dialogue. I think that happened here because after he
really.
says the bit about, he holds up the bottle and he
Uh-huh.
says, you know, the whole bit about the chicken pox and this and the STD, and then you hear this line that sounds completely different than the other ones where he says it's just a sparkling apple cider, or no, he just says it's just a sparkling cider.
Sparkling cider.
And that line sounded like he had to record that in a different place because it didn't sound like the rest of the audio. And I was like, I wonder why was that, like
Hmm.
they were trying not to promote underage drinking, or like
Well, we
what
just saw
happened
Ben
there?
having a beer.
I know, like we've
So,
seen it so many times, right? But why did they like? I wonder if it was an audio issue the first time they tried to get that line, or if there was like something
so was it
about.
just the sparkling cider part? Because
Yes.
he says something like, uh, it's not champagne, it's just a sparkling
Oh,
cider.
it might have
So
been the
did it
not
include
champagne
the
part
whole
too.
two?
But that it
Okay.
was specifically that line.
Interesting. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I was like, why? Is this a disclaimer they've been asked to make, or was there like fuzz
I
in the
don't know,
microphone or something? I like it's, you know, weird. I was like, oh, it
blinking
sounds
in
like
the health
he's
center.
like, why does this line sound so different? Um, Bizarre.
I also assumed sparkling cider was hard cider as I was thinking about it. So, but you're right. It's sparkling cider, not hard cider.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and it's in a very weird container for sparkling cider. Like, was it homemade? Like,
It
what?
looks like moonshine's going to be served out of it
Yes,
or something, right? It's
like
like,
something that
what?
someone concocted in their bathtub
Yes.
is now in this weird jar in your weird mini fridge with all of the like samples of urine.
Like, I
Like,
would have been equally as, I expected it to be either moonshine or something that had like a skull and crossbones on it, and it was
yes,
like some sort of
yes.
like rat poison.
Well,
Like,
or drugs of some sort.
yeah,
Like,
it was weird.
oh man.
But hey, it's
But
okay,
I
fish. It's just
but
sparkling cider, okay?
we both think it's weird. And I also thought it was weird that when he said you want to hang out, he meant here on this couch,
Right.
right here.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
I will say, loved the music for this scene. I felt that it was very intimate, and think, I think I figured out what this one was.
Oh.
I might be wrong because I'd have to go back and listen to them side by side, but I think it was The Wide Atlantic by Mark Davis.
Okay.
Just this
Cool.
very like sort of quiet, intimate song. I think one of the reasons I love the music from this episode is because even though it's the DVDs and they're other artists than the original, like most, if not all of the songs sound very 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was going back and listening to some that I think are in here at different points, but I don't know exactly where, because again, I'd have to listen to it again. But we've got Ephemera, Morning Sun, Vertical Horizon, Send It Up, Matthew Sweet, who was 90s, If Time Permits, like, and this, The Wide Atlantic, I think they all feel of that time period.
Mm-hmm.
So like 90s, early 2000s. Um, And I really enjoyed it. It was like well lit, and we got this sort of, I don't know, more intimate friendship that's starting to grow into something maybe.
Yeah. And before they kind of get into that, Greg says, "You know what? Your dad was right to order that
Mm.
test."
Mm.
He like makes that concession. He's like, "You know what?
Yeah,
This kid
the guy
actually needed
had
that
an
kind of help."
arrhythmia.
Mm-hmm. So he makes that point, and they sit down and they've taken care of all the business, and now they're having their sparkling cider and they're telling jokes on the
Yeah.
couch.
I mean, it feels like she's very comfortable, and they're both like smiling on and off at each other, and you know,
I think they've gotten to a place where they both feel this is going to sound weird for me to say like worthy. Um, but like the dynamic of this relationship started with like she's doing community service. He's, I guess, her boss in that situation. There's this hierarchy. He's kind of annoyed with ComServes in general. He's planning not to like her. Like there's a lot of stuff where it's like they needed to get on equal footing.
yeah.
And I think they're there.
Yeah, I think he has respect for her, and I think he has leaned on her during the stressful time, and she
Mm-hmm.
brought her dad in, who was right. And you know, I also think he's attracted to her.
Mm.
And she, on the flip side, likes the fact that he's passionate about this work, and likes the fact that he can run this center, and it gave her an excuse to find a place for her dad to come where they could hang out more.
Mm-hmm.
um and I think she's attracted to him.
It's a pretty even match when
Yeah,
you look at it, at least in this moment,
I mean, I don't
where
think
they
it's
are now.
completely even. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely still think like he's her boss,
Mm-hmm.
but like, you know it's definitely more even than when they started.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot closer. And I think even him being her boss, I think that he's finding a sensitive way to approach that. And I
I
think
don't know
that
that I
they
would
got there because
call.
she pushed back at him a couple times, where it's like, don't treat me like an idiot. It's just like, this is the task. I will do it. I will help you with this. And like, I think those pushbacks she did early was part of how they got here.
Yeah, I don't know that I would consider Greg intentionally sensitive. Uh, but I do think that he reacts like, I feel like, I don't I've seen what, 2 episodes with him in it, but I do feel like what I've seen so far is intensely practical from
Mm-hmm.
him. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to be a dick and not care about you if you're going to mess with my clinic. But if you are a valuable person, like, I'm going to give you respect and treat you well because I can use your help for the clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so to me, it's not so intentional about him being like, oh, I'm your boss, like I should make sure to approach it in this way or the other. It's just, he's like, you're here for the same reason I am, and
Yeah.
we're all just doing the best we can. So in that way, we are kind of equal.
Yeah. Um, well, they're having all this happen, and Ben, who is, we know, on a mission, he,
Mm.
whatever mode of transportation he took, he charged forward out of the conversation with Sean. And here he is shown up into this conversation. And as an audience member, I don't know. Actually, Fish, how did you feel when you saw Ben walk in? What did you want to happen in that moment?
Oh man. Well, first of all, I thought he walked. And he's
Okay.
coming to the health center, and I don't know how he thought like Greg wouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but maybe he thought he could like pull Felicity aside or something. I just don't think this was the place to go do it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But he walks in, and he he sees them talking, and he sees Greg reach over with this very familiar kind of laying his hand on top of her, like hand, which is on her leg, and they're laughing and they're talking to each other. And it, I guess I don't think the two of them are ready for each other. Let me put it that way. Like, with everything going on with her and with what she's saying with, like, to Greg, and I think she's got this little thing going on with him, and Ben's really trying to figure it out for himself. I still feel like we would be heading towards, like, an implosion. Mm-hmm. If they were to get together. I mean, doesn't mean I don't want to see it, but like, I'm okay with him chickening out. I feel like he sees them talking and he gets in his own head with Greg's got all this stuff that I don't, and they're becoming like closer and closer, and he sees them and he feels bad about himself and he leaves, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't find it like heartbreaking from a romantic perspective. I found it heartbreaking from like a Ben's self-assessment of himself, and how he feels about who he is, and his own self-worth. That's what I felt really bad about.
So when it's hard to remember exactly what I felt the very first time I would have seen this. I am team Ben, and I want to see them together. But when he charges into the health centers unobserved, I am hoping he won't interrupt them, because it's like, oh, this doesn't feel like the time.
Right.
It feels like more damage will be done than good by interrupting this moment. And that really struck me watching it here. And I was relieved that he saw it. I was very sad for him, like you said, that it felt like, he sees this moment, and it's not just a look of disappointment. His eyes go down. He kind of slumps forward a little bit, and you just feel like he feels bad about himself. And it's like, oh man, this guy. That doesn't need to be the takeaway, Ben. But disappointment I get, but I feel bad that I feel that way about what he's doing here. It's like I'm so unworthy kind of moment.
Yeah.
It's like, man, dude.
Just as we were talking about Greg and Felicity, coming to more even playing field, it's like Ben's stomping himself down.
Yeah, that's hard to see.
It is.
Because in many ways, he's making really admirable choices in these recent episodes in terms of like being there and being a good person for others. And it's like, you're fine the way you are. Like, I don't know. Like, we're grow as a person, but you're fine.
And also, your self-worth shouldn't be tethered to Felicity.
Yeah.
Like,
but
she's
isn't it interesting?
Her own stuff.
Like, isn't it interesting how we've gotten there? Because we opened this series and Felicity's self-worth is absolutely tethered to Ben. And could you have imagined,
honestly, no,
this far later, that it would be basically completely reversed?
And it is purely like the brilliance of this show. Like, all of the actors involved, all the writers involved, all the directors involved, like everyone involved in this show, that they actually got here. And I believe it, because if you had told me that they were going to flip by like season 2, I would have said there's no way. There is zero chance that that's going to be believable.
And you know what I'm actually thinking right now? I've never thought about this before, so bear with me. Maybe the reason why when I see Ben walk into the health center wanting to have a conversation with Felicity, but in order to do so, he has to burst in on this scene with Greg. maybe the reason I was so uncomfortable about that and like screaming to the screen like don't do it right now. Maybe what I was thinking about was the pilot episode where Felicity pulls Ben out of the lunchroom onto the stairs and has that whole like, so I've been into you for a while monologue where she's just like, but I'm fine now. I'm over it. We're friends. That's cool. Like she backs all the way out of it. And I feel like if he had tried to do something here where he really did approach her, we might have had another one of those.
I feel like it would have been worse.
Oh boy.
They know each other now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Could it, oh my God, if it would have been worse, I can't even. Um gosh.
yeah.
Oh, thank
Because
God.
before he could kind of be like, okay, crazy girl. Like, he dealt with it well, but like, crazy girl.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he was able to kind of laugh it off and be like, haha, like, I can take her in a fight if I need to. Um, if we now reverse those roles and he pulls her out of a conversation with another dude, uh, like, and what, confesses his undying love, like, I don't know what he'd say. Like, cool, can we get a burger? Um, and then one, she's like, I know you. Like, what's going on? Like, we both got the Pavone thing. Like, da 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 da. Also, definitely can't take you in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're the crazy one, ugh. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
yes, I agree, 100%. But I never thought that he would approach them when they were together. I
Mm.
thought, if he saw them walking around separately, then he'd like find a way to like grab Felicity to the side. It never even crossed my mind that he might go over to them while they're sitting together like that.
Well, you just don't know. He was on such a mission to begin with. It's like,
I
oh,
don't know.
what's going to happen here? Um,
I
but
mean, he's not totally oblivious to everything. Like,
no, I think he's
I feel
generally
like
not
Ben is a very
oblivious to things
social person.
nowadays. But I mean, if he was going
No,
to
but
the health center
even
after hours, who was he going to find there? Like,
me, Greg, and Felicity, but like
yeah.
hopefully not sitting together having a conversation, which would be different. I guess my expectation was, or I thought his expectation was that he would come there, they'd still be working after hours, he'd come up and, maybe lean on the counter while they're doing Excel spreadsheets and say, hey, Felicity, when you get off, like, do you want to grab a beer? Do you want to like have you had dinner yet? And then he'd take her somewhere else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then again, fool that I was, I thought Greg was taking her somewhere else.
I mean, just goes to show
Apparently,
you.
yeah, apparently the health center is really the place to like
Oh,
get intimate.
oh my goodness. Well, okay. Shall we look at Elena Tracy stuff?
Yes.
Um,
Yes, please.
and the stuff we got with Elena and Tracy in this episode proves to me that you and I were right. And what they should have done in the beginning of season 2 for Elena is have her do interviews with potential, or like trial runs with potential lab partners until she found Tracy and show us as
Yeah.
many really bad bits as possible before you get to Tracy. She can handle the comedy.
But also that Tracy would be the one that she still tries to get rid of, and he won't go. He sticks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because she kind of has a little bit of that going on here, and it is hilarious.
That's what we needed. We put it out there,
Yep.
and by seeing this episode, I am certain that that would have been great.
Yes.
And then we get this, which was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, her hair. Oh my God, she has such great hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, and I just love everything about that. I love how Tracy is playing this. He's got her number, and he's so. It's a game for him. He's
Yes.
loving it. He's like, on top of the world. He's playful. Like, his smile is amazing. I mean, I could go on
Donald
for a while.
Faison. Come on, guys.
I
Come
know.
on. I so believe that they are a good match. You know, like
Yeah.
Elena is a strong, dynamic person, and he is a strong, dynamic person, and somehow they're finding this negotiation, and he's seeing her for everything that she is, and she's seeing him for the things that he is, and I think that's a good
She's
start.
learning. Like, she's on a learning curve. I feel like Tracy has her number, and Elena is continuing to find things out about him. And he's like feeding her little things, and he's being really playful about it. And Elena, she's so serious that she needs someone like this to like pull the fun out, right?
And she's probably not used to somebody challenging her this much in this way.
No. And I like the fact that he is smart.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's pulled her completely off balance.
Yeah, she doesn't. I feel like she likes it and she respects it, but it also like deeply frustrates her.
Yes. It's so great. It's so great. So the whole game around their scenes in this episode is the competition around their grades, and the competition around studying, just competition. So when we first see them, Elena is studying in the library. Tracy has showed up late. She's like, "Where have you been?" He's like, "Walking to the library." Can you imagine? What if we used that? Like, why are you late to this meeting? Because I was coming to the meeting. Like, some of us came here on time. I don't know. I don't even know. It was so great.
It was amazing.
That was, I want to use it and have it not work and just see, like, why did it work for Tracy and not me? But it doesn't even matter
so him.
that he was late, because he knows everything already. Like, he's read ahead.
He already read it.
Yeah.
Well, no, he skimmed it. He's done with that chapter.
Yeah, that's fine.
But he's going to take a seat.
Yeah, he's going to give Elena a little sniff and be like, "Hey, you're wearing that perfume again." He's getting everything he needs to know from the fact that she keeps wearing this perfume, apparently. He's very confident in what that means as a signal.
I mean, he made it very clear that he enjoyed it during the wallpapering party that was like a 0% success. And yeah, she's sitting there, she's looking good, she's studying. She doesn't really believe that he knows everything. She's like, go back over it. Like, yeah, the perfume, yes, thank you, I do smell good. But she's like, I'm here to study, and you should be taking it as seriously as I am, because I'm gonna kick your butt.
That's the thing.
I kick your butt in the test. I'm gonna win, and you're gonna lose.
Mm-hmm.
LOSER, loser.
Yep, the who's a her. For those of you who remember, that was an Ace Ventura Pet Detective reference. Thank you.
Love him. Fantastic.
Yep. So the next time we see them, we are going to get extreme close-ups.
I've got the same thing, like very close-up shots.
We are going to get like his eyes and then her eyes.
And nose.
Back and forth. It's like eyes and nose, maybe brows through nose. And that is it. And in the background, you can hear she keeps clicking her stopwatch because she's doing her system. And so it adds this real tension. Yep. And the camera is very quickly panning back on these tight shots. And they're studying, but my God, is there sexual tension? It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You get these huge close-ups, and then when I looked down on the table, I wrote, M&Ms are back.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's got her system, and Hmm. He's got a system. It's called apparently like eidetic memory or something.
Yeah.
Like he's reading the stuff and he gets it. And
Yeah.
they're sitting there like he's done and he's just kind of watching her and
Hmm.
she is being very serious. And I feel like at this moment he's like, what can I do
And a little
to
frustrated, by the
piss
way.
her off? Yeah.
It's like,
Well,
here I am studying so hard. Who's this guy? What's he doing here? Why? Why is
exactly.
this?
And he feels that. And he's like, she's already a little frustrated. Like, what can I do to put her over the edge? Like, I just wanna like nudge her like right off the edge of that cliff and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
In like a funny, charming way. So he's like, let me see what I can do here. There's a lot of wallpaper. Let me go see if I can just like take one of these scrapers and start, showing her that I'm all done and I'm gonna help, do some manual labor here for her.
He takes the
Yeah.
scraper, he swipes it up the wall once, he pulls off one piece of paper, and she's like, ah!
He's like, success.
So she's like, all right, let me quiz you. That's what we'll do. Let's make sure you know your stuff. So she starts asking him questions from the reading.
Yeah, lots of words that I can't pronounce.
Like the Knizzerol reaction. And Tracy's all like, Knizzerol, he was an Egyptian king. And she's like, come on, be serious. And then he like tells her word for word what it said in the textbook.
I
Like,
love her eyes. It's like the first question she asks, she looks at him like, "Oh, you don't know, huh?" He's like, and he tells her the right answer, and she's like, "Okay, fine. That one was too easy. Well,
mm-hmm.
here's another one." And he's messing around, but the second time he gives her a right answer, her eyes go wide.
And then she
Like,
realizes, like, he's
"Oh."
giving me right answers to stuff that wasn't even, it's like in the next week's reading.
And that was the third question where
Mm-hmm.
and she didn't even get to finish her question. She just starts talking and boom, he knows the answer. And she's like, whoa, hold up. I didn't finish the question. And that's in chapter 7. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I read it. I just read it. Let me go back to the wallpaper here
Mm-hmm.
because I got it. You finish up. You got plenty of time. I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. I'm gonna chill here. Um,
And it could have been like that. They could have continued on that way for an hour with him scraping wallpaper and her studying.
yeah, but Elena wouldn't be Elena.
Nope. It's just eating at her
It
so
is.
hard.
Does not take long. I mean, it's like an additional 1.5 seconds.
It's like her own little chemical reaction that's happening. It's like, I
Yeah,
can't.
she can't even get to one M&M. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's
Yeah.
no,
She's like, you
she's
have
not.
to leave.
Yeah,
He's like, what?
uh,
You have to leave right now.
yeah.
She just kicks him out of her apartment.
She's
He's
like,
smiling the whole time.
oh, it's so good. She's like, you're scraping too loud, and I can't concentrate with your snide attitude.
And you're scraping.
You and your snide attitude. And his smile just gets bigger and bigger. And he's gonna leave, but he's gonna leave with a parting shot.
Basically, like, you're the most competitive person I've ever met in my whole life. But he's
And she's like, I'm not
smiling.
competitive. He's smiling so hard. And
Yeah.
she's like, she's legit mad.
She's really mad. But
Uh
he's sitting there like, I know I've got you. That's it.
yeah.
Like,
I just wrote down like he's happy he's winning.
mm-hmm,
Like he
mm-hmm.
is winning. He's winning at life just by being him. And then like cherry on top, he not only gets to piss Elena off, he gets to turn her on and beat her in the studying. And
See, I don't know that I
yeah,
think he's
he's
really
happy.
motivated by beating her in study. I think that he's motivated by what that does to Elena. And I think he is like so interested in Elena that he wants to elicit that reaction. So I think like, the fact that he happens to be better, like I don't think that's where the competition is coming from him.
Well, I agree. When I said he's happy he's winning like in this him versus Elena, like he gets to frustrate her, he gets to turn her on,
Mm-hmm.
he knows he's got her. Like, yes, he's also winning from kind of like the studying perspective. It
Yeah.
seems like she needs to put in more work than he does, but he's I think he's happy to be winning all around.
Yeah, it
He's
seems fair.
just but mostly I think you're right. He's very into what he can do to Elena.
Mm-hmm. And then he's just going to rub it in a little further in the next scene. They actually
Yep.
take this test,
Mhm.
and he finishes well ahead of everybody else in the class. And he's annoying all the people around him by loudly tapping his pencil on the table and
On his head.
on
He's
his
tapping on his
head.
head and then
And he's
he's
getting
just making
Elena's
noise.
attention. Yeah, she's noticing.
Yeah, he's making noise. He is very attractive while he's doing this. Uh, he Donald Faison has this way of like his arrogance. It pairs so well with his comedy
Yeah.
that I just love it. So
Yeah. I think
yeah,
in real life, arrogance like this, I'd be like, thanks, but no. But for this character, he's just so exactly pushing her buttons in the way that he kind of needs to if he's gonna like she's gonna be like, you're worthy of me. Like it just there needs to be this level
yeah.
of challenge for her to get her attention. And
But again, other people could challenge her. It's it's the way he challenges her. Like, yes, he challenges her academically, but there's no way to take him seriously as a threat because he's so like goofy and charming and like
yeah,
everything that he is. So
yeah.
like he's making noise, he's attractive, he like picks up his papers and walks slowly by her and whispers good luck in her ear,
Make sure
hands
for
his
sure
paper in.
she's watching him walk out the door.
Yeah.
And then he gets
And then we get our second split screen shot here of him outside the door. Everyone who's taking the test can see him. Really, Elena. And then like the TA proctor, whoever can't.
yeah. It's framed exactly the way the shot with Ruby and Noel was earlier, but in that shot it was very upsetting. And in this shot, it's
It's
hysterical.
amazing.
So he walks out the door and we can still see him, and Elena's looking at him, and he throws his backpack to the side out of frame, like in this big flourish, and then he starts this dance. And it goes on like a long enough time that you're like, how long are we going to be watching this dance? And it gets better and better as you're watching it until, and he would have continued until the proctor gets up, the TA, whoever it is, and slams the door in his face. It's so great. And she's
Yeah,
so
he starts
frustrated.
off with like, oh, she is. It starts off with he's doing a bunch of 90s dance moves.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like starting with one, he's like mini cabbage patching, and he's just because he can dance.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just doing these like he's moving from one to the next to the next to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And and what we see is while yes, Elena is fuming, she can't not smile.
Because the
He
whole
gets the
time he has
smile.
this like shit eater smile on his
He
face. It's like,
does.
so you see me? You see me now? And she does. And she's like trying not to smile, but smiling.
She smiles.
She's smiling. She
He
loves it.
got it. He
Yeah.
did exactly what he was trying to do.
Yes. This brings us to our final scene with them, which was amazing.
So
where I guess the grades, the scores are posted on a wall. Elena goes and sees her first. Then Tracy comes up and sees his, and then they size each other up. They're like, "How'd you do? How'd you do? I did okay. I did okay too." And then we find out Tracy got a 99. Elena got a 95. Oof.
We don't find it out in that order.
Okay, we find it out in the other order.
Yeah. Tracy's like, well, what'd you get? And Elena is so confident in her. I got a 95. What'd you get? And then Tracy comes in with a 99. And, well, so seems like as good a time as any for Tracy to be like, so, we going out?
Going to dinner?
Come with me on a date?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And Elena is just like, fine, and walks off.
So
Great
pissed.
skirt. So pissed. Great skirt. She's got an attitude walking off. Like, she knows. She knows when she walks away that he is just going to be staring at her ass all the way down the hallway.
Yeah.
Like, she's got this white skirt on with the nice hip hugger. And she's like, he may have gotten a 99, but I'm going to take like the next 6 seconds of his life to be looking at my ass.
Yeah. It was just this perfect, like, the competition. It's, they just got it exactly right. It's like, got a 95. What did you get? 99. Come to dinner with me? Fine. Just like walks away. Swish, 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 swish.
He's never angry.
Yeah, she was though.
But that's the thing. He's never angry. It's like she was. Mm-hmm. But it's like she says 95. What'd you get? And he goes 99. Mm-hmm. Like just chill with a big smile. Like he knows the second he saw he got a 99, he knows he's got her beat.
Yeah, that is exactly
it. And she is so sure that she has him beat.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to provide, I think, just some really amazing moments going forward, and I am here for it. I am looking forward to it.
Will, yes. It's a lot of unexpected stuff too, so it'll be fun. That is for sure.
Interesting.
But shall we? I don't know. We may be heading for a recording length here. We'll see how it goes. Shall we head into the What the Club Did They Say segment?
Yes. I'm going to fully admit there weren't really a lot of good ones. Okay. But we're going to do it anyway because we have a song.
Yep.
Okay. So the first one is on the Ben and Pam date. And as we've said, we love Pam. It's just, it's all Pam for this one. And she says, can I just say that I don't know who that person was? I mean, who forced my on you? Oh. I never do that. That's so like Cosmo Girl.
Yep.
She was a little forward.
Yeah. Okay.
And the next one we have is our lovely Elena Tracy duo. And Elena says, I want you to leave. Tracy's like, you're kidding. And Elena says, no, I'm not. You're too loudly. Oh. What was he doing? What was he doing too loudly for Elena while she was studying?
Singing a cappella.
He'd be good at that.
Mm-hmm. I
fully believe he'd be good at that.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Wow.
And one more. Mm-hmm. Here we have our Javier Ben, another bonding moment. Javier says, Benjamin, we need to talk. Ben says, what? Javier says, man to man. To Ben says, why? Javier says, trust me. So there we go. They're
Wow.
that's how they're talking. So they're talking man to man. And what to what?
Apologist to apologist. That doesn't make sense, but it was the first thing that came into my mind.
Apologist for what?
For walking in on each other in the shower. Guys, I don't know how I got there, all right? Oh, Fish just kept asking me for more information, and this happened. Okay, I'm sorry.
This is what we love about people who do improv. They will say things.
Just never know.
The first thing that comes to their mind, because that's what they've been trained to do. They don't sit there and think and say, is this appropriate for me to say out loud? No, you're just going to get first thing out of their mouth.
And hey, guys, that might have put a whole new layer on this show for you. Okay. And if it did,
I mean,
maybe let's just enjoy the rest of season 2 with that in mind, huh?
I mean, hey, fan fiction.
Yeah, fan fiction. Yes.
Again, something you could share with us. Fan fiction.
True. Yeah. Very true. Well, before we get to how you can share it with us, shall we get to, because that was the What the Club Did They Say segment, but now we're heading into our favorite segment.
Yay.
After you listen to this tape, you have to erase it. Mm-hmm.
Which is going to make, I can't believe you called it this, given your animosity towards the actual tape.
I didn't know that they were going to pursue half of the device this long. I love the device at the start of the show. Love it, because both of them are having conversations with each other. But at the point when they started to half do it, and only one of them was talking to the other one, it's like, at what point would you just say, Sally, this isn't working out anymore? I think we need to go our separate ways.
Also, from what I'm remembering from college, Melissa, how long did you have a Walkman that played actual cassette tapes?
Oh gosh, I had it definitely all the way through college. I never had a Discman.
Yep, that's what I remember.
So I think I went from Walkman to iPod.
Yeah,
and that was years
that
later.
Makes sense. Yeah, she was
and
special.
For playing CDs, by the way, I brought a boombox to college.
I did too.
Yes.
That was the time period.
Yes.
But yeah, she definitely, for going out and walking and stuff like that. Nope. She had cassette tapes.
I was going for runs playing mixtapes for all college. Long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, literal mixtapes.
Mixtapes.
Not
fun fact for you.
The CD version of them.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Well, okay, guys, after you listen to this tape, you have to erase it. So there are a few things from specifically last episode that I wanted to mention. And then I wanted to just run through the array of comments we've received about Greg as a separate thing, because it's just fun. So let's look at the ones from last episode first, though. So on the episode of True Colors from @insta.mickey, the second semester of sophomore year is just hard not to give a 10 in every freaking episode. So I hear you girls, just perfect episodes all the way through. But this episode is really special and represents the show so well.
So we're not crazy.
We're not. We were wondering.
Yeah, we were. Because we both came to, we both came to the same conclusion separately, but that doesn't mean that we're not both cracked.
Especially because we've had so much negative Greg feedback. So it's like, ooh, if we're gonna go all in on a Greg episode, it's like, I don't know. But so far, people seem to like that last episode. So we also had on the episode in general MEM_0026 on Instagram says, I'm caught up now on all episodes. I think that means our episodes. I'm caught up now on all episodes. And yes, Ben Scott Speedman. All the accolades to him and more, that he's so great at both drama and humor. Great line by the writers, too, meaning the 63% of me thinks you're a dick. This episode is probably a 10 for me, too. Amazing, genuine empathy by Sean to Julie. I think it's a great moment that gets overlooked. It's Sean who convinces her to finally take steps and get the help she needs.
Absolutely. Yep. I think that, man, the way Greg pisses off Ben is meant for our amusement. It is a device that works very well, and I'm loving it.
And specific to that, on the 63% of me thinks you're a dick line, at Colleen.Tenbus says, one of my favorite Benisms. Yes, nothing better than a Ben burn. Most of the Ben burns are the same, but that one had a little flair.
A little extra. We added math to the straight Greg, you're a dick.
Okay, so here's what I really thought would be fun. So we asked on Instagram, Greg, love him or hate him? And I just wanted to read through for you some of the responses we got. Because, it's a real who's who of the people that we're engaging with on Instagram who we love so much. At Fool for Film, hate, hate, hate.
Does he do something later?
No.
I get it, he was a dick earlier, but
not really, Fish.
Don't
understand. Just like this all the time. Okay, maybe the Party Lines episode that we'll get to, you could be like, I don't know about that. But he's basically like this.
I don't understand what's driving all the animosity.
Yeah, but let's just let it wash over us here for a second. So,
well, I'm just gonna say, David, I would understand.
Well, that brings me to our next comment, and some of the comments we had here at Anna Kekism. Again, don't know how to say your name, but we love you so much. Better than David for me.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's kind of where I'm coming down. I'm he's not the worst. And I actually kind of like him when he's not being a total douche.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, at Felicity Restoration Project jumps in, and little spoiler here because Greg is going to cut his hair later, but this comment is, I'll say he was decent looking when he cut his hair, but always an absolute pompous jackass. That mop head he had going on, though, was hilariously terrible. I think he was better than David, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so we got two better than David.
Yeah, David isn't even part of this question, and people just can't stop with David. I love it. The way this community trolls David, I guess, is more interesting than David himself.
It is. It absolutely is. It's so funny. Because it's I guess everyone had forgotten about him, and then when we brought him up again, they were like, why did you do that to us? We had comfortably forgotten about him.
Yeah.
And all the hate came out. But we're getting strong reactions to Greg too.
There's more to come.
So
I'm going to slightly chop off a part of this so that I just want to leave something as a little spoiler for you, Fish, because I think it'll be fun. But at Angie Coder Kelly says, I could not stand Greg. However, it was hilarious when Megan was in love with him.
Yeah. I mean, it is hilarious. I mean, she basically had an orgasm while he felt her glands.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah. And at Queen Shalana 75, same vein. He was just okay. I loved Megan's obsession with him, though. It was cute. We love what
Yeah.
Greg brings out in other people. Also, this is a
Oh
fun little
man,
bonus.
if Greg starts dating Felicity, like what is Megan gonna do? Is
It
she gonna
gets
curse her again?
it gets interesting. Gets
Oh
interesting between those
man.
two. At Insta.Mickey, bringing in stats. I think 93% of me loves to hate Greg. um, at
Of course, my
Emmeline,
question is, what is the other 7%? Is it just like straight hates Greg or like, I don't know.
at Insta Mickey, we
What
need to know.
what is the other 7%? Does the other 7% like him or not care about him or
Oh my god. Now, at Emmeline Bride hasn't really pinpointed it, but just can't stand him for some reason.
just just for some reason,
Just for some reason, not sure why.
could be anything.
Could be anything. Could be
Yeah,
anything.
that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Now,
anything at all.
at Colleen.Tenbus also jumps in with this. I made my thoughts quite clear in my bleep Mary Kill email earlier on, but I will say, post haircut, he's giving Bradley Cooper vibes. The character isn't my vibe, though. Bring back Eli if Felicity needs to date outside the love triangle. Mm-hmm. We
Well,
hear you.
yes. I mean, see, okay, so first of all, I'm still liking him with the long hair. I don't know. I guess I'm the only one.
I'm okay with it.
But I haven't seen him with the short hair yet, so I don't know. But I feel like just with my personal taste, I feel like if he cuts his hair, he's gonna look a little too preppy douchebag to me, and then I will have a really hard time being on his
And then
side.
we have to give him a lacrosse stick, and it's just going to be a whole mess. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's got that essence
I
to
don't
it.
know. I mean, look, I may just flip on him. I
Oh,
might
that would
just
be
flip and
interesting.
say, yeah, like he cut his hair, now I hate him. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that very well could be the turning point.
Okay, all right,
I,
there you
I'm
go.
I'm not kidding. I cannot stand the like khaki polo shirt wearing like, just preppy douchebag guy. I can't do it.
Okay, I hear you. That seems fair. Well, just a few more. At sluzz.bit says dislike thumbs down, but not quite hate.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, better than hate, hate, hate.
Well, that brings us to our final two. At Ms. Yuppie Scum just puts two thumbs down, but
So it's three
this
total.
is upped by at Soraya E28, who put three thumbs down.
Oh, so how many thumbs down would that be then?
Well,
So that's 3 plus 4 because she upped it. So 7 plus 1 is 8. That's 8 thumbs down.
yeah, it's here's what I'm here to tell you, Fish. I don't know what people are going to think about. I mean, look, this is why we weren't sure how our last episode landed. It's like people just really don't like this character. I get it, guys. I get why. We also have a lot of Team Ben fans on our page, so Greg absolutely is thwarting those two characters. There is no question about that. Like for sure, if you're wanting Ben to approach Felicity in this episode, why doesn't he? Because of Greg. But like, and he says some things that are, like, yes, okay, pompous. Like he's got work to do. He's getting it done, and we hear you. So please just know that while Fish and I have some grace, and may even Fish sounds like she basically likes Greg to this point. We hear you. We want to be sensitive to that, and we wanted to give voice to that here because this podcast is for everybody. This is a legacy. And it's
Yeah,
not just
I
about
mean,
saying what we like when all of
as
you hate something. Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I mean, for as much like hate that David got, he didn't get a single thumbs down,
People
and
just
Greg
didn't
just got
have the
8.
energy for David. Like, can't even
Not
believe you asked this
worth,
question. You know
yeah,
what's
not
really
worth turning
funny? We're getting more response about David in a Greg post than we did about David in the David posts.
my.
Just thought I'd
Oh my
mention.
goodness.
It's so funny to me. I know we don't usually just like run through every response, but I thought it was hysterical the way we all just came after him. Goodness.
I feel bad for Greg now.
Yeah. Well, look, hopefully you all still love us because we're probably going to be apologists for him at some point, and that's okay. Um,
Or again, I might totally hate him after the haircut and be very vocal about it.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I maintain that he did excellent things for the story. I think we in one
You just like
character,
seeing Ben.
but in one
You like
character,
seeing
like
Ben frustrated
I
and
love
funny.
seeing it. I love seeing Ben frustrated. I like that that is causing some sort of a reaction for Felicity. I like that Greg being present is creating all this weirdness in Megan. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
and I like the fact that the health center as like a place in the show has ultimately reunited our characters because it brought Noel and Ruby in. Um, in the next episode, it's going to bring other characters in, and it becomes a place where, because Fish, you were expressing concern earlier this season about how it just seemed like our main characters were on different shows. Like they just weren't
Yeah.
interacting with. Like there was a couple distinct crews, and they weren't interacting with each other. And it was like, how are we going to get them back together? And I guess you could make an argument that the health center does that.
Because it's the cool place to hang out.
It drives a lot of new story that gives people a reason to latch on and connect back in. And so I think that they did a good job of bringing us all back together in the second half of season 2, where I know that was getting uncomfortable as we were getting out of the first half.
Okay. I
Uh,
mean, so we've already got what? Ben and Felicity and her dad and
mhm,
Noel and Ruby.
mhm.
So I guess Julie could come for therapy
She's
and
not going to come for therapy, but
Sean.
next week's episode is going to be on a specific theme that allows both Elena and Julie to be in the health center.
Interesting. Oh yeah, because we have Megan. And so all we're missing
Mm-hmm.
now is Elena, Julie, and Sean.
Oh, and she's going to bring Sean back in as well.
So they're all
So,
going to
like,
be in the
every
health center.
character will have a reason to visit that location or to connect with Greg in some way. And we don't really get a lot of that with other stuff. Like, Sean at this moment really only kind of exists in the loft.
Yeah.
So to bring him
I
anywhere else
mean,
is kind of interesting. And then,
but
um,
also he would be like Lloyd. Like he can't use the health center. He's not a student.
no, that's true. It's very true. So
Okay.
I'll let you noodle on that for a minute.
I was like, no answer to that, but all right.
Yeah. Sometimes I spoil you, sometimes I don't. Well, Fish, shall we rate this episode?
Yes, I think we should.
Did you want to jump in or do you want me to?
Why don't you go?
Okay, so I'm not confident on my rating or my unit of measurement, but I'm going to give you both. Unit of measurement is ginkgo biloba. Now, I was going to say
I'm
like
sorry, wait.
tablets,
That has
but
to be plural.
does it? Because wouldn't it be
Yeah,
like
just say it
tablets or capsules or
plural.
something?
Yeah, but I
Okay,
want to see you try to
try to
say
say
that
it. All right, so I'm
plural.
going to change this unit of measurement to read ginkgo biloblas. That is so hard to say,
Yes,
guys.
very
Try.
good.
It's weird. Uh, and I'm going to do 7.8 out of 10 ginkgo biloblas. Uh, I think this is a good episode, but not a great episode. I think that actually the opening scene didn't set it up well for me in terms of how I was going to feel about the rest of the episode because I felt really discombobulated watching the opening scene. And I expressed that as I was talking about it, but it actually gave me quite an impression of the rest of the episode that may not have been fair because it just felt like, whoa, we were throwing a whole lot into this. And it didn't always make sense together for me. So that was a concern. Of course, there's the concern about, leaving half of a Dear Sally segment. So those are a couple of the things that it's not an episode that I'm like, does it compare for me to True Colors? No. But it was good. It was strong. And didn't feel like it cracked into the 8 zone for me, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like you give yourself more freedom. You go down to the 10th, and I only go down to the 0.5.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to choose a 0.5 or a 0. For me, I mean, I didn't have a problem with the opening scene. I kind of like that. Love the music. Loved everything about Elena and Tracy. Don't have a problem with Greg. Think he was probably the best version of himself in this episode, okay, as opposed to some of the other ones. I would say that I wasn't a huge fan of the slow-mo Ben drinking a coffee moment. that threw me off. And honestly, I could do without the whole Dr. Porter story. At this point, I really don't care about him. And I kind of wish they just sort of get to whatever the end is going to be. What is Felicity going to realize? How is this going to be resolved? He's just sort of there, and it's not funny, and it's technical and medicine, and I just don't care. I really don't care about him.
So you didn't really need Dr. Porter and Greg going toe to toe?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they can whip them out on their own time. During the show, I'm just not interested.
Okay.
So for me, I mean, I just, maybe there will be an episode where this does not hold true, but I feel like I would have a very hard time giving any episode that has Donald Faison in it less than an 8. So this one gets an 8 for me.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of good things with a lot of good stuff for us to talk about around Noel and Ruby, even if I didn't love what was actually said. And I'm just going to say, I feel like Elena hit it out of the park in terms of her overall look. Those jeans were freaking amazing. And the coffin ring from Megan, they had some very nice choices. So generally speaking, I like this episode. I mean, it's not a 10, but it was a good one.
Yeah, I'd say that's overall still pretty strong for us. Yeah. And very, another episode where our ratings are really, really close.
Yeah, we've been doing much better since the one
that shall not be named. Help for the Lovelorn is our biggest spread we'll ever have, I think. It'll be hard to top that.
I don't think it's possible.
It's possible mathematically, but you would have to really hate an episode because I don't think I'll ever get that low.
I would have to give an episode a 0.
You would, yeah. So,
I mean, it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
just don't know.
That's what we thought in great detail about this episode. What do you all think? We'd love to hear your feedback. We always love to hear how this stuff is landing for you, or if you want to share Felicity fan art, feel free to do that. You can write to us at themelissafish@gmail.com. It's Melissa with one L, two S's, themelissafish@gmail.com. You can also find us and so many other cool people on Instagram at Felicity Podcast. And then if you want to be kept up to date whenever we drop a new episode of the podcast, we send out a newsletter whenever we do. And you can sign up for that. If you check your show notes for this episode, just find where it's written. There will be links and you can sign up there. And of course, if you like our podcast, write and review it, because the more that happens, the more other people who are fans of the show Felicity can find this podcast and become part of this community. So those are all some things to consider. Now, next time, we are going to talk about an episode entitled Revolutions. Fish, what do you think revolutions? Yeah. What do you think that's going to be about?
I've got two competing things in my head. I've got like the idea of like uprisings and revolutions, and then I've got revolutions around the sun, which could mean like days and time passing. Because usually if you hear a revolution singular, that's the uprising. Mm-hmm. But I know that in the next episode, Julie's going to be in the health center for some sort of theme that is unrelated to her mental health, which is also going to bring in Elena and Sean. Now, how could that help me? I don't know.
Sometimes when you give somebody more information, it gives them less information, which is so fun.
Yeah. Okay. Revolutions. I am going to go with, let's see, who would be paused for a revolution? I don't feel like there's any like Viva la Revolution going on right now. So I'm going to go with, we see like rapid time going by. We're going to see like multiple days in one episode, just sort of like flashing by as the earth turns.
Okay.
That Melissa's face says I'm not correct.
Come on, sci-fi. Yeah.
That's not sci-fi.
Well,
that's
okay, fair enough.
That's called time. Time is real.
It's fiction, okay? Time is a construct. No, it's not. It's fine. Okay. All right. Good guess.
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
not from your face.
That's fine. It's fine.
I don't know who else could have like a revolution. Oh, there could be a protest on campus. That's kind of revolution-like.
Okay. Well, we're just gonna see. Does it have to do with protests or the concept of time?
Look, I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Well, this is always fun for us to see what you think might be ahead. I love it. Well, is there anything that you want to say about this episode that we somehow didn't get to?
Not specifically about this episode, but I just want to say again, for those of you who aren't on Instagram and didn't get to read it, how much I love Melissa and how wonderful a friend she is. And she always has the best birthday gifts, and gifts in general. Like, she is so creative. And not only did she do the cameo thing for me, which was amazing, she also rewrote the lyrics to Time Warp from the Rocky Horror Picture Show and made it all about this podcast, and then called me and left me the whole song, which she sung on tune because she has a very nice voice. And it was amazing. And I loved it.
I left that message 6 times.
6?
Because it kept cutting me off Because look, if you're gonna rewrite all the lyrics to the whole Time Warp song, you've got
I
a
mean,
long message
it
on
was
your
a long,
hands.
it was a long song.
And Fish's voicemail is a little finicky at times. And so the first time it cut me off after 30 seconds, and I was like, oh, no, no, no. So, you know how voicemails are like, after you leave your voicemail, it might, and if it cuts you off, it might be like, do you want to leave another message? Do you want to erase and re-record? So I had to keep hitting the erase and re-record button until I had gotten all the way through. And the first time I did that, after the third time, it just cut me off altogether. And I was like, you know what, voicemail, you don't make decisions around here. Fish's voicemail is also really funny in that if you stick around long enough, does anybody else have a voicemail system like this where it gives me options? For example, press 1 if this message is urgent. Press 2 if this message is confidential. Press 3 if this message is urgent and confidential. Press 4. And so it'll go through and it's like, wow, what happens? And I once pressed 3 for urgent and confidential because, of course, and nothing new happened. Fish just got my voicemail and there was nothing special about it.
No, and I think I figured out what happened because different things have been happening with my voicemail over the years because I've had the same provider forever. And Melissa always likes to call and say, guess what your voicemail did to me this time? So I think what happened is I started this job and I didn't have a phone for the job yet. And so they connected my cell phone into the job's phone system. And I feel like the current options are for the office, and they're office options. So now that I have a cell phone for the job, I need to go back and remove my personal cell phone out of their system, and then it can go back to continuing to frustrate you with different things that happen.
Yeah. Press 1 if you want. This message is urgent. Press 2 if it's confidential. Press 3 if it's urgent and confidential. Guys, who wouldn't press 3?
Everyone presses 3.
Everyone presses 3. I'm gone. Well, thank you very much, Fish. That is a lovely thing to say. And first of all, want to say you're amazing. I love you. Aww. You're the best. But a close second is everybody who's listening, because my goodness, how sweet. We've been doing, Fish, I don't remember when we started this. What month did we start this podcast in? Who even knows? But it was less than a year ago, right?
Yes.
Well, in that amount of time.
February?
Yeah, it might be around then. Fish has a birthday. People come out of the woodworks. Everybody's we're getting so inside jokes. We're getting, guys.
Amazingly nice, but also just all of you. You're hilarious. You're so funny. The two of us were going through your messages, and you guys, you're amazing.
You're the best.
Yeah.
Second to Fish.
Well, don't say that.
Oh, we love you all. Brought a tear to my eye to see that response. Yeah. But that is.
Me too.
Yeah, that's
because I was laughing so hard. I think yes. I think we have officially done this podcast.
This is. I'm sure we could find something else to talk about, but why? We'll see you again for Revolutions, folks. It'll be fine. It's not bye forever. It's just we're ending this podcast and rolling right into the next one. Oh my goodness.
Which, I don't know. I don't remember. I think we're recording it right after Thanksgiving. So here's what I'd like to say to all of you. If you celebrate it, have a lovely Thanksgiving. Or for those of you in Canada, when it was a while ago, I apologize for not telling you at the time to have a lovely Thanksgiving, but I hope you did.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
Well, we've done it all, Fish. I'm going to cut this thing off. So until next time, Fish.
Do it.
Don't hook up with Ben while I'm gone.
I'm a fish.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
How about Team
You know
Sean?
what I am? Yeah. I'm Team Sean.
Team
Team
Sean.
Sean.